in the valley of the shadows, land of the scorpion. Stung by the darkness, swimming in all the poison. I need some angel music, so damn hot down here. I need some angel music, so to wash away the fear. Come with some angel music, so damn hot down here. I need some angel music, so to wash away the fear. Holy, unseen, I plead, show me some mercy. Grandma, come on down here and sing your prayer with me. Cause I can shine like a raven if I get a little bit of sun, a little bit of light, just a little bit of sun. I can shine like a raven if I get a little bit of sun, with a little bit of light. I can shine like a raven. I can shine like a raven. I can shine like a raven in the land of the shadows, the valley of the scorpion. Stung by the darkness, swimming in out the poison. I need some angel music. I need some angel music. I want some angel music. The song to wash away the fear. Holy, unseen, I play. Show me some mercy. Grandpa, come on down here and sing your prayer with me. Cause I can shine like a raven with a little bit of sword, a little bit of light, just a little bit of sword. Black feather glisten, just a little bit of light, a little bit of sun. I can shine like a raven, shine like a raven. Black feather glisten. Pull me up from the Snake River. I want to be one. Pull me up from the Snake River. I want to know freedom. Oh, oh, oh. Chichimbate, papate, pampate, papate, pampate, papate, tapate. Pull me up from the Snake River. I want to be new. Pull me up from the Snake River. I want to know freedom. Freedom, 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 freedom. Ja. I can shine like a raven. I can shine like a raven.
Morning. How you doing?
Morning.
You're both muted.
No, I'm not. You thought I was. I like Little Chris Berry. He does a good song though. I like that man. So how you doing, Liv? Mr. Matt? Good?
Yes, anyway.
It's been a fun day so far. Been an eventful week for me. I literally had to wake up in the middle of the night and move out of my bedroom and call maintenance because we had a flood going on. So,
oh wow!
Our sprinkler system burst over the bedroom. I know. So I had to get all our stuff. We had to move it all out as fast as we could before it got damaged. And there's something about sprinkler water. They add a fire retardant to the water itself, so it like sticks to everything. It's like got a chemical in it.
That's not good, is it?
yeah. I know all about that. That's
Ugh.
crazy, man.
Yeah.
Were you able to get all your stuff?
We got it out of the way. Yeah. A few things got wet. I got them washed and everything.
Huh.
The only thing that really got the stuff on it's the floor, and it's taken me a little bit to get it up.
Yeah. Yeah,
I noticed.
they did that chemical because it's not only for it's got that chemical fire retardant
Yeah, that's what it is.
mixed in. Yeah, it's chemical fire retardant that thickens up and really sticks, and
Yeah,
that's nasty.
my bedroom floor is sticky.
Yeah.
I want to try this demo right quick, see if I can get it to work. All right, let's see. Not saved it. I'm not used to StreamYard. It's going to be a little different. I had to like relook at everything because they changed it all. But you're not having problems staying in here, are you, Liv?
No problem so far. My phone doesn't
That's
seem to
cool.
be overheating either. It seems a lot better actually. Yeah.
You can hear
It's less
everybody
labor.
okay, Lev? You can hear me okay
Sorry,
as
mate.
well?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're a little
Alright.
bit quieter than Roger, but only a touch.
Yeah. Well, the audio in here is not as good as his restream. That's probably what takes a lot of the memory. I make sure your phone overwork it. So it's the studio.
Well, I got
No, no.
headphones on. I got a headset.
Mm.
How's
Like
that
it-
now?
Oh,
It sounds the
Uh,
same.
it's-
It's
Yeah,
still
you're
the
all right.
same.
It's
I'm
just
I'm not a
like
little bit louder or anything.
it's oh, I've just turned my own volume up, so you're louder now on my end.
Ah.
Everybody is.
It's a good idea. I got mine up at 100%, but that's just. Oh, look, Copy Bear's backstage. Hey,
What's
hey,
up,
Chad, how
Dylan?
you doing?
Good. How
Hey,
you guys?
Chicago.
Oh,
Hey,
beautiful.
Hey, good to be there.
Man.
Much love, brother.
Good to see you guys.
So you have some chi you want to spread around, Lev. I understand.
Yeah, we can do. We were on the first Origins of Life video, weren't we?
Yeah. You got it laid out somewhere, or should I look it up?
I've got it here.
Oh, good. Can you post it in StreamYard, or are you going to put it in the chat? I think I can get to it from here, though.
I do it from my desktop whilst I'm on phone, so it's like I've got both going at the same time. I'm not sure how to do it from my phone. I'd have to like go to YouTube, find it, make a link, copy the link either, and then come back into here. And I don't know.
I hear you.
Especially with phone being so glitchy and stuff, it's gonna like let's not risk it. But I put it in the YouTube chat.
Yeah. I was thinking I could give you like an hour to do a presentation, and I wanted to present a couple of things on my own. I want to go over Parallax, but I have a video I wanted to put up, but I haven't got it downloaded to the computer yet. I got to figure out the file system to get it to work. I could do it in StreamYard. I mean, Restream easier because I got better access to everything. But I'm in another world over here with if I should use this more often so I can stay familiar with it. But I'll share your presentation. You have it bookmarked, correct?
Say that.
It's saved at
it's
8 minutes 28. About 6.
Refresh it from about 6 minutes because it's showing you pictures of chakras from that point. And then because that's like the relative thing about the episode is the chakras and stuff.
Yeah,
so
I
then in
remember this
future
one.
episodes, it's gonna like it links it up with everything else and stuff like this episode series I'm doing at the moment is like it's to connect back to the beginning series. So if you've seen the beginning series, then the more recent episodes will make more sense and stuff like that.
I got you. I'm going to exactly 6 minutes.
And Chad, this is the first Origins of Life episode. It's end at first series. And so first series were about the trees and why I kind of went to the Origins of Life. But as a starting point, I mean, the first Origins of Life video, that is a good starting point. It's just that like I say, it's end of that series and stuff. So like the end of the series I'm doing now, as it connects to that series, you know what I mean? So there's relevance to like the first series and stuff like yeah, more than just more than just the last episode. But yeah, it's like a continuous flow. So it's like following a story, and like, you know, each episode I've got something new, and as I make a discovery, you know what I mean, it's gonna like the next episode I might not mention it, but I've got things which are relevant to it, so it's like you should be able to spot that on your own in that kind of way, like all that kind of stuff. But it makes sense, because you'll see.
Just take his word for it. You'll see.
Cliffhanger.
Yeah, trust me, bro.
Faith is a temporary thing, so you know what I mean.
The spirit of nature, the origins of life, part what?
It should be part
Right.
1.
Right. Yeah, part 1. Yeah, that's the one.
Bing.
He knows his stuff. I guess he put it together himself. And this goes out to Bro Sanchez for anybody out there watching. I'm just joking, dude.
Why,
I don't know, bro.
That's hilarious. That was the first thing I thought of was Bro Sanchez.
why did you say that? Actually, I don't know much about that guy. I've only heard about. I don't really watch him or anything.
I've never really watched him that much, but what I've seen.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
He's stolen an abundance of my work over years.
I see. Okay.
Which is kind of like really annoying. Like it might be the second part of this episode. I speak about like speciation of the sperm rather than looking at speciation of a hand. So like you compare the human hand to a bat's wing or a dog's paw, and you know that's where evolutionists are saying that, you know, that's where the link is and stuff like. But really
Evil
going
what?
back from like evolutionists.
Evil what?
And yeah, how they see things and stuff like that kind of thing. Like, but obviously this isn't evolution and all that kind of stuff. Like, but when we're comparing things in that speciation, then instead of looking at a bat's wing, comparing it to a human's hand, because that's like fully developed. Whereas like the beginning stages, like the sperm, that's like the earliest that we can observe in that kind of way. So, you know, what other similarities there, and go through a speciation in that kind of process and stuff like. But yeah, it were like 6 months afterwards that Bro Sanchez did it on his channel, and so well, kind of a gap. It was the first thing I'd noticed because I'd not really seen his channel for years. So yeah, and then ever since then, every now and again, I've looked, and then I've seen that he's still in more and all these kind of things and stuff. It was quite rare that I actually watched it and stuff. It's kind of like become more recent, more increased, more recent and stuff kind of thing. Like every now and again I see like he's got a stream going and it's gonna like, hey, hope this looks like the same as mine again. So it's like as soon as I introduce something new, like the Taurus field from this episode, like Bro Sanchez, Witsit, Trinity 4, all these kind of people are always constantly because like really if like well, eventually I did like the expansion and contraction of the Taurus field, so then that's when everybody else started to repeat it as well. So you know, it's like, well, where did it come from, you know? And I can't copy all those people, you know what I mean? I can't copy Trinity 4 because it's like, you know, if all of those people came up with a Taurus field, then which one would I have chose to steal it off? You know what I mean? In that kind of sense.
Well,
But
just
I
keep
think
it
the
honest,
research,
Lev. You know?
it
Just
stands
keep-
for itself because there's a flow to my research, and because Bro Sanchez has got it in way and stuff, it's prevented me from doing certain things. It's like, you know, certain aspects of the research I wanted to do, I've had to like drop it because he's doing it now, you know what I mean, in that kind of way. But but as long as everything like connects to this episode, then there's a correlation between the research as it continues. So
Well,
you know
just
what I mean?
do it.
It's gonna-
Don't let that discourage you. Just do it and do
No.
it better than he does.
Yeah. Just keep
Yeah.
on, dude.
Well, sometimes
Point out the things he misses.
it's trying to beat me to punch sometimes, because like I've done this most recent series and it's like the Earth is the sun is also like a black hole, but a black hole's not what we've been taught, and all these kind of things, right? So I've gathered my pictures, so I've got pictures of UFOs, but Bro Sanchez has done a stream about us living inside a giant UFO,
All right.
which is, it's not exactly how I would have interpreted it. And I'm still going to do it anyway because I can show the proof of dates of the pictures of the upload date, download date, and stuff kind of thing. So, and also I've got like, the narrative of what I want to talk about on that subject is still there, you know what I mean, and stuff. So, so yeah, I'm still going to do it anyway. But
I hear you. You remind me of a song that Tool put out. It's called Rosetta Stone. You ever heard of it?
You mean you haven't played it
Not
here before?
Nope, I haven't. No.
Really? Oh.
I'll
had a couple
give
of
it to
mates
you.
that went to Tilbury.
If you got 10, 15 minutes to listen.
That's a short one, huh?
Yeah, that's the way Tool does their shit for some reason. I have no idea why.
I like it though.
Okay. All right. You ready to start playing, Liv?
Yeah.
It's your,
we'll
it's
just
your
let it
baby.
play through kind of
Okay.
thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. If it will play.
Like, so, and then we've got like a crown chakra. And that's to do with spirituality, the heavens, and all these kind of things. So, that's like earthy, and that's more spiritual. So we've got like a range, in between and stuff like, in a way. We're much more advanced than a plant and stuff like, but let's see, in here you got these spirals, which are kind of important. It also looks like plant cells, or crystal cells, like our crystal forms kind of thing. So here we have Fibonacci spiral again, but this is more in a 3D representation. So the side view, you can see how it creates a funnel. So that's more like, in other pictures and stuff. So that's another version of it, that's like a more simplified. This is more an accurate version. This is your 3D version of it and stuff. And it looks like an apple, doesn't it? It's like got a core, it's got 2 points that it goes in kind of thing. And it's this flowing shape and stuff. Like a yin yang. And then we've got like old symbols. This is a Reiki symbol, which is supposed to be ancient and stuff. So this is for increasing your Reiki power for healing and stuff. And I think it's suggesting like a portal, like drawing in spiritual energy and all that kind of thing. Earth energy, universal energy. So in symbology, because we see these in caves and stuff like that kind of thing, where it's been carved into rock or carved into wood at time and it's petrified since maybe. This is a fairy symbol for getting into the fairy realm.
Now,
which again,
Liv, I got a question for you. Now, I've been in the Grand Canyon, right? And I've been in some of the ancient caves they got down in the bottom of the North Rim Canyon and Walnut Canyon. There's artifacts in there. They do have a lot of these symbols on the pottery and on the walls, just sitting around. You'll see it everywhere.
See, it's sacred. It will revered in a way. It's kind of like a piece of information which were really important. So what it's showing you the chakra, it's showing you the portal. So there's a lot in that, you know what I mean? So like the yin yang is based on it and stuff like, so the energy and flow of a realm in that kind of sense and stuff.
Well, this is in America.
So-
This not just yin and the yang. It's not just Oriental. It's like the ancient native cultures in the canyon area, the quick dwellers and stuff. They have these symbols too.
Well, that's it. Like Reiki's kind of like an Eastern thing, and fairy culture is more of a Western thing. So you've got the symbol represented like everywhere, like but all in ancient times. So like in modern times, it's kind of like demonized, and you know, what I mean, it's like these are evil things or whatever and stuff like that. And basically, they just want to hide us past. They don't want us to know what all that kind of stuff is about and stuff like.
Well, if I get a chance
Yeah.
to go back to Arizona, I'll go down to those. They have they're like caves in the side of the canyon wall, where you can actually go in and look at this stuff, and it's not been boarded off or kept out of sight. It's just like nobody knows where they really are. If you dig around, you'll find them. They're there. And
I went to Canyon de Shell. Is it Canyon de Shell? That's in Arizona. They had like paintings in there and stuff as well.
The
Rock
one where I
paintings.
was at, the name of it was the heck. They actually had it signed off. They had signs pointing to what it was, but this is on the north rim of the canyon. There's a halfway dip into the canyon, and it's down, but they have a stairway down to it. They have it roped off. You can go down into it, but at the bottom of the little ravine there, it's not quite down to the bottom of the canyon, but they have just holes in the wall. You could say they've been carved out, and you can actually go into it and you'll see this stuff. You'll see broken pottery laying there. They have actually hole pots and stuff that actually have symbols on them, and they have it carved in the back of the wall. And one of them I was in, I didn't get to explore all of them because I was on a schedule, because you got to get in and out of the canyon before it gets dark. It's kind of fun, but I used to hike up and down that part all the time, and I would go and try to find other things. I'd find like odd little. I found a couple of paintings on rocks just out in the open, mostly in Glen Canyon, which is not Grand Canyon. It's the canyon above the Grand. That's where they dammed up the river there, and the Colorado used to be a lot bigger than it is now. They cut off the water supply, and they cut it off from there all the way at the Hoover Dam. So there's no water coming to California at all. Like that's where that used to feed all the way to the coast almost. So that is politics when it comes down to that crap.
Yeah, it was by design.
Yeah. The Peabody Water Company is the one, what they call it now, and they cut off all the decent water supply for the West Coast from the Grand Canyon down throughout Nevada and everywhere else. It's crap, dude. And they want to complain about that. Oh, we got a drought. Yeah, you don't have. It's not really a drought. They cut your water off.
Yeah.
That's just that should be stopping. And people were protesting Peabody Water Company, and they were trying to get them investigated by the Fed, but it never happened. I wonder why. But I think Peabody Water Company is the Fed. Fuck them. All right. I'm sorry to cut you off like that, but yeah, I just had to point that out. If I get a chance to go back to Arizona, and I probably will eventually before I pass over, but I like to go look at them again now that I know what I know after I got older. Like, what do these mean? What are they? I looked at them, that's odd. And like the ones that were painted on the actual rock face were just basically almost like big, gigantic monster stick figures that were kind of just half drawn on there. I'm like, that's really strange looking. Just out in the middle of nowhere, dude, right off of the river. You could go up about a quarter mile up into the canyon bluffs, and you'll find these things painted everywhere.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of like, you get a lot of people like exploring, and they like go around and they look for them and stuff, like, so either shorts or actual videos and stuff. And there's loads. You know what I mean? It's not like, you know, it's like people are finding them all the time, and it's gonna like, I think like, you know, a lot of them aren't.
Well, if you ever get a chance to go to Arizona again, go to Glen Canyon and get on Lee's Ferry, and they do a trip. It's like I think it's like a 6-hour ferry ride. You can go up and down the Colorado through the Glen Canyon area. You can get off it. They have stops, and you can get out and explore yourself. It's kind of fun. But stay out of the water, dude. It's cold.
I remember the name Glen Canyon. I'm gonna have a look it up to see.
Cold down south there.
I know the water's so deep and it doesn't really move that fast.
Oh,
So
okay.
it stays cold even in the desert. Like the water, because of the depth of it. The
Yeah, I was
water
gonna
is
say, okay.
really cold. Yeah.
Yeah,
We,
I didn't
we were
think about the depth.
we were pushing kids in, and they were trying to push us in. I was a chaperone on one of the trips through. They were having fun, but the water, man, if you're not ready for it, it'll smack you in the face. Like, wow, that's cold. It's cool. And it's crystal blue. You can see all the way to the bottom, dude. And there's a lot of people that go fishing there because you can see the sturgeon and the trout on the top. Yeah, you know where they're at.
Those dinosaur fish.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna start playing again. Left, ready?
All right, yeah, cool.
Okay.
Which again, it's using this old kind of symbology and stuff. It's almost like that. What kind of part of a language in a way? Dreamcatcher's kind of doing the same thing. You can see it as more of a 3D, although it's 2D in it, but it's kind of creating a 3D illusion. So again, 3D. It's still 3D, but it's on its side. The Buddha's third eye, that's the pineal gland of a chakra there, for seeing into other worlds and all that kind of thing, astral travel, etc. And you got the same symbol, it's that same spiral, and you get it there.
Ooh, that's pretty.
So, this is more like the chakra is like at the tip of a flower, and that's where everything's kind of coming from. It kind of grows from the seed, but at the same time, the seed itself has got like 2 points on it, that's where you get your root and your crown. So as it expands and comes out, you've got the root, which is taking the nutrients, but it's taking its form at the very tip. So it's like the mechanics that creates the tip. It's almost like it's hidden. It's not actually there. Obviously, like I say, it feeds it and stuff, but the very tip where it all unfolds in a way. See, like where's the mechanics to create it? You know what I mean? It's like where does everything come from in a sense? But we can see this shape, this spiral. So like as a missing link, like the key to intelligent design is like through the chakra. So it's
Now I got a question. Is that an Easter lily we're looking at? Left?
I'm not sure.
It looks really similar to an Easter lily. And I remember when I was a kid, my grandmother used to grow them in her garden. And I went in there when I was about 6 years old, and I picked a couple of them. And I walked up, and I'm like, "What are you doing with that?" And I got my ass whooped. Let's put it that way.
I was about to say, I bet she was pissed. I bet she was pissed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That just reminded me of it. But yeah, I know where the data comes from. It's created by God, dude. But a lot of people don't take time to look at it, dude. And that's what they really need to do. Take time.
Well, that's what the chakra is. He's God in that kind of sense. So that's why how we're like a fractal of the God in that kind of sense and stuff. It's like we are of God basically, and everything of creation shares that same. That's like the the image of God. It made man in God's image, and it was the Taurus field, which is the image. So every creature, every life form, including plants, have that same mark. So you can tell that it belongs to God. It's one of God's creations. So, rather than saying that it's man and it's, but made man in God's images, and that's what the human looks like, then ignorant to all the other life forms that God's. Whereas this is this.
Oh yeah, you're breaking up there.
Yeah, Lev, you're breaking up a little bit. StreamYard's not perfect.
You gotta get Elon's Neuralink to download the data.
Yeah. Go ahead, Lev.
Yeah, so basically it's just like that is the key connection kind of thing. Like, so rather than God's image, we look like man. You know what I mean? But we look like the torus field. So every creature has that same link. So that's the missing link in that kind of way.
Cool. Yeah. I had a great epiphany one day that everything is God. God's image, everything is made in God's image. Not our man-made stuff. What man
Everything
makes.
natural.
It's just
Yeah,
the natural. Yeah. That should be well known. But you still got people who think that we can do better than God. I think I don't know who those people are, but I think they're running for office next year, and I'm not voting.
I mean, you know, even if you look at a fetus, like a fetus is like curled up in that same position.
I get you. Yeah. So that's the position we start off in life, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's a miracle in itself.
It's actually, yeah, it's beautiful. It's
Well, then humans are beautiful, then, aren't we? Should be treated
yeah,
treated as
we
such.
are. Yeah.
It shows it's sacred.
Yeah.
Like everything in nature is sacred. Although, you know, people can lose their way, but you got to think like the propaganda, all that kind of stuff, like the influence from the negative side of things and stuff like that's not of
Exactly.
God. You know what I mean? That's a manipulation of things and
Exactly.
stuff like that.
It's manipulation. It's manipulation all the way through, man.
Oh.
Everything from our educational system to who governs us and who tells us what decisions we have to make when, you know, like a quarter of the time the decisions that they're trying to tell you is to rat on your fellow human being for doing something that is actually completely lawful. Like carrying a firearm or, you know, self-medication.
There's also the loss of the trees. So like the giant forests that used to be here, that used to make things better than the internet and all these kind of things, better than anything that technology could offer us. And that was psychic ability. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's like your intuition was so good that you could tell if somebody were lying or being deceptive before they even spoke, you know? So, I mean, you've got that ability now sometimes, you know what I mean? It depends how in tune you are and such. But we're in this dark age of spirituality. So, like the opposition, the government has tried to take advantage of that as much as possible. So, like you say, with movies and all these kind of things to try and influence your mind and, you know, like the globe for one thing.
Well, I mean
They're trying to
yeah, and
remove
that's one of the things that, yeah, man. I mean, that's what we're told. You know, if you want to find the answer to something, you go sit in quiet and you sit in nature.
That's
You
it,
go
yeah.
to yeah, you go sit in nature. So you go to the woods, you sit down, you meditate or pray or whatever you want to call it, and
Mm.
you contemplate and you wait for the answer, and the answer always comes to you. Like it's so crazy how it does. Like even Nikola Tesla said that. He said
Oh, the
It's,
if
monster
you
made it. Sorry,
it's with
what's that?
Ryan's in the house. Sorry.
What's up, Ryan?
Hey
Ryan.
Ryan.
I agree with you completely. And the
What's
biggest
up?
thing I think that they stimulate us with would be the idiot box. And gentlemen, when was the last time you sat down in front of the idiot box? Be honest with yourself.
Years,
I
it's been
mean,
years.
right now, right now.
Apart from
That's
YouTube.
it.
Depends on which one you're talking about.
I mean, if you're talking about like the iPad or the TV or a screen, I mean, right now I'm looking at a screen.
Yeah, but you're not being programmed by TV commercials. Yeah, we're the idiots on the box. There you go.
I stay away from programs where it's
Yeah,
commercials or whatever and stuff like that. But I mean, a movie now and again, but it's really rare that I watch a movie these days as well.
yeah. The
I
only
watch
time I
movies
watch on PJs. That's it. Sorry. Go ahead. What are you saying?
Oh, I was just gonna say I watch movies out of just nostalgia.
Nice.
Yeah, me and my brother, I can't remember what movie we watched last night. It was something from like 1994. It was oh man, I can't even remember. It was something stupid. But
Yeah,
we
the
just
stupid-
watched it. We watched it. We just smoked a bowl and laughed at it.
Nice. The stupid movies are probably better than the very well made movies because they have more programming in them. Less programming in the B film.
Maybe not as much, but
Oh, it was Friday after or no, it was next Friday. Next Friday. If you guys remember the movie Friday from the 90s and they made Next Friday, I think it was in like 2001 or something like that, or
Ice Cube.
2003.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ice Cube.
Chris Rock.
And yeah. No, it wasn't Chris Rock. It was
Or,
man, I can't remember his name. Mike Epps.
I don't remember his name either,
Mike
but-
Epps.
yeah. Rock was the first one, right? Or what? Not
Right,
Rock.
guys.
No, Chris
I'll be back
Rock
with you in a
was
minute.
never in any of them.
Well, who am
Chris
I
Rock.
thinking? Not
Chris,
Rock.
you're thinking of Chris.
Yeah, the other one.
Chris Tucker,
Yeah, the
dude.
one-
Chris Tucker.
Chris
Yeah,
Tucker.
Tucker. There
Chris
you go.
Tucker. Yeah.
Sorry.
All right.
Yep. Good job. But yeah, no, it was
Shanghai Nights. Wow.
man, it was stupid, but we just sat there and decided we weren't going to talk politics or argue or talk about anything, and we just watched the movie and we smoked a bowl and we laughed, and it was fun.
The first time I ever saw Chris Tucker was in The Fifth Element, dude. That was the first time I ever saw
Oh,
that,
dude,
man.
Fifth Element. Oh.
That was a funny movie.
Oh, I love Fifth Element. That's one of my favorite movies.
That was his worst acting career. That was the
Oh,
worst thing, but it was fun. I give that.
what
Yeah.
was it? What was her name? Because I don't even know if he was playing a guy or a girl.
He was,
I don't
redhead.
even.
he was a transvestite. I was thinking.
Yeah.
He was a transvestite as one, but yeah. But it was like he was the new internet thing, and look what's happened. It's almost exactly that's really what's
Man.
happening right now, right? It's like,
Yep.
wait a minute, how the hell did they know this was going to happen?
Yep.
Yep.
Because they programmed it into us.
Exactly.
I like the original version better. Heavy Metal was a better movie.
Heavy.
Sorry.
Weird, but
Oh.
good.
But look at the parody between the two. They took a skit from Heavy Metal and made it into a movie. The taxi driver, the Corvette that Elon copied going to space.
Huh. I never watched Heavy Metal, but I do know about that scene.
Mm-hmm.
That and
And
Blade Runner. Blade Runner.
It
Yep.
does play in.
There's a lot of movies that copied a lot of the skits out of that out of Heavy Metal. There's actually a part of it where a guy is a gunner in a B-52 bomber. He's in the belly, and the landing gear went out. So for some reason, he kept drawing landing gear on a pad, and it eventually came to life and animated itself, and it saved his life because he animated a wheel out of nothing. It was a really strange movie, dude. There's like 10 different little things that go on in the middle of that movie that are really strange, but it all goes to this crystal orb that is evil. Every one of the skits center around it, but there's a taxi driver who rescues a girl from another planet, and it's basically the Fifth Element story. It's kind of strange, and I'm sorry we're getting led way off topic. So,
Yeah.
but that was stuff like that. It's weird to look back on. I think you don't see it coming until after you've already watched it, and then you see.
Yeah,
like,
I'm thinking back to it, man. It's like actually, yeah. I gotta go back and look at some.
Go
stuff,
watch it,
but
yeah.
Let's get back on topic, I guess.
Yeah, let's play some more lefts. Thanks, Lev, for putting up with us for a minute.
Yeah, sorry, brother.
Oh, hang on. I wanted to add a bit about like sitting in forest. When you're sat in forest, right, you've got all the portals, the chakras from the flowers, right, which are portals. So they're like it's like a connection to source. You know what I mean? So it's like you could talk to a flower and God would hear it in a sense. I mean, God would hear it if you speak anyway, because you're connected to us as it is. So, but in the sense of like getting clarity and all that kind of stuff. Once you're sat in the forest and you've got like the root network of all the trees, they're connected to the heart brain of the forest. They're connected to the entirety of the forest around all of Earth and stuff like. So it also connects to, because the forest is connected to the heart brain network of the ocean as well. So you have all your cymatic patterns when the sunlight comes through water. That's part of that brain network. So the plants recreated what were going on in ocean, but on the land. So it's like that's the physical manifestation of the expression of God in that kind of way. So we come from the flowers, so that makes us sacred in that kind of sense as well. So when you're sat in forest, you're sat with that heart-brain network. It's like you're closer to God in that kind of sense. It's kind of like that communication is going to be a lot easier. So like you say, even sat in silence, you're listening to your intuition. You know what I mean? So that's the voice in that kind of sense. It's your heart, which kind of relates to it, the speech and stuff kind of thing. Your heart's the portal as well. So how we connect in that kind of way is the vibration. So when you're sat there in that relaxed kind of way and stuff like, that's what the realm is in a way. If you weren't in the forest, it'd be just peaceful. So you kind of match that frequency, which is a big part of it.
Nicely put, Cliff. That was nicely put. Yeah. So basically, do you look at things like the oceans or the seas in the first instance are actually breathing and living like the rest of the trees, the plants, and everything. It's all
a conversation.
in sync.
The conversation between the sun and the ocean. It's like the sun is the expression of the realm. So the ocean represents a lot about the physicality of the realm. So then when we get to the reflections of love and light and stuff, the ocean series, we get to see how it's formed, the anatomy and why, and all these kind of things and stuff. And it's like, it appropriates it to the realm itself. It knows how heavy things are. It knows how much oxygen in before it made us. You know what I mean? So it knew that everything were ready in that kind of sense. So that's why it don't produce life now, because like the trees have been cut down, and it knows that it's not in the state to create the utopia to produce life. And so, eventually once the forest goes back into its state again, then it probably would do.
Nice.
But produce life again.
It makes sense. Now, Lev, have you ever watched the little series that Jim Henson did called Dark Crystal?
Great movie.
Oh yeah. You ever watched the series they did on Netflix just recently? That was actually well done, I think.
No.
Go get a chance. Go look into it. It breathes the forest, dude. The life in it. It's basically this, but there are a lot of foreshadowing into like what Western civilization has actually done to the earth. It's pretty telling if you watch it.
I also equate that movie with like adrenochrome, how they steal the essence from the Gelflings and stuff, and how like the Skeksis are like the government sort of. But anyway.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd agree with that. Yeah.
The Skeksis are looking for the Elflings. Yeah, sketches. Oh God, yeah. It's a great movie. You should watch it. You hear?
I've seen the movie, but it was a long time ago. I've not seen this documentary though.
Documentary?
Is that what you were talking about on Netflix?
It's a Jim Henson movie.
No, it's just a series. They redid Jim Henson stuff and they made a new series out of it. They made a saga out of it on Netflix. So, but they did a better job than Henson did with the animation. I think they got a better budget, you might say. But it looks really good. But basically, it shows you what the Pentagon is and what government is, basically, but on a Muppet scale in a weird way. And it shows like their flaws, like they're greedy. They especially the what do we call sketches or whatever you call it? I don't know.
Yeah.
They represent government and everything evil in the world, dude. That's
Mhm.
really, and it's why it's plain as day if you watch the series. And I recommend your kids watch that stuff. It helps educate them to show you what you're looking at, and when you turn on the TV or go to your city hall or whatnot, you'll get to see it in real life. Yeah.
Yeah, and they fight amongst each other and try to take each other out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just like politicians, huh?
hmm
Amen. All right, let's get back to you, little sir. You ready, Cliff?
Yeah.
This all started out with an Easter lily, and we've wasted 20 minutes.
So it's Source, which is creating everything in that kind of argument. So here we see chakras upon chakras upon chakras upon chakras and stuff. So here's a plant grows, that's its one chakra, the second chakra. You know what I mean? Every joint is like a new chakra in a sense. Cross section.
Christmas tree.
See, it's unfurling
Yeah.
there. It's unfurling here. All its little leaves are unfurling. That's where it's attached. So it's everything's got a chakra at every single tiny point kind of thing. You see it doing it in its 3D kind of pattern. See, everything else has already grown. That's grown. All the new stuff is coming from there, kind of thing. Like I say, obviously it's feeding it, but at the same time,
Like the
it's got its
portal,
own
yeah.
code or whatever and stuff like. But I kind of think it's like a chakra, which is determining its code in a sense. Like we see it here again, that spiral. But again, how alive it looks. I mean, plants are alive, but
I tell you, it makes my hair stand up. What do you think?
Only if you have a mohawk.
I had to say that. Is what I thought of. Yeah, I was gonna make something else. Now, when you find stuff like this, does it make you think back to coral? Lev?
I did an episode on coral actually, like in the tree episodes. One of them's about petrified coral. Because some of the landscape, it doesn't look like trees, but they're like strange formations and they're repeated quite heavily. So it looks like we had like giant coral on the land as well whilst we were flooded. Unless it's a different type of tree that I'm unfamiliar with, or fungus.
Could be,
I did
but you're
suggest
no
it on
longer
some episode.
you're no longer a coral denier, are you?
Look like hairy ferns.
Yeah, they do. So if it's not coral, what kind of tree would you say it would be, though? What would be the first thing to come to mind? What species?
This is the chakra.
No, I'm talking about like the other episode you did on the coral.
Oh, what were we saying? Sorry.
You were saying it could be a different kind of tree, or what will you compare it to?
Oh yeah, like fungus, or I mean, like what it could be and stuff. Like, I mean, I can only assume that it's coral. I can only assume that it's a type of fungus or whatever and stuff. Like, it's one of the previous episodes. So, whatever now. You've got as the class as petrified forests. So you got like different ones all over the world and stuff like, and some of them are like really different shapes. You know what I mean? So you wouldn't really look at it and think that looks like a tree. You know what I mean? So that's the potentiality that it is coral or fungus is quite high.
Well, if you want to dig it deep enough, you think there's like mer people that may have swum through coral forest at one point in time?
Yeah. Mer people, like mermaids and such.
Yeah. Mermen, merwomen.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was being PC.
Damn straight.
You guys need to realize you are a merman. You came from water, silly.
See, yeah,
You
it's
had
like
cut-
the age before now that were more appropriate. But and I've watched some mermaid videos recently of like apparently the elite hunt them and then they serve them at dinners and all that kind of stuff. Like,
Whoa.
apparently,
Imagine going to dinner and you got myrrh on the menu.
yeah. It sounds a bit crazy and stuff like. I mean, you know, it might be just like YouTube videos and stuff, that kind of thing. Like, but at the same time, you know,
There's a lot of strange lore out there, dude.
I don't trust the elite, and I do believe in mermaids.
Oh, there you go.
There's like in astral terms and psychic abilities and all these kind of things and stuff like. So in that arena, like the mid, them you've got dragons, mermaids, elves, etc.
Lev, I think you might be cutting out.
Yeah, I thought it was. It cut out a couple of times, but
Yeah.
but
I
I don't
missed
know.
that last
Let
bit.
it play anyway. I think if it's
Okay.
continuing.
All right, we'll see what the ferns do. Fern Valley.
It looks much more alive. This is a. I'm sure it said it was a.
Looks like a stack of logs.
I forgot
Yeah, they build it.
I'll put it in the thing when I
What
find
the
it.
hell?
But we got this spiral again. And it makes
That's
it
a
out of
plant,
wood. It
really?
finds its wood up
Are you
and
serious?
it makes it, which is
No,
kind
it's
of
not a
weird.
plant.
I think
They all tend to be spiral.
It's the
no,
bug.
it's a moth.
Yeah.
Again, it's in the
I know what
bone,
that is.
You know, how
That's a snail.
it's
Yeah.
connected.
They're all over my
you know,
yard. I have
it's
to
got that
salt them
code,
all the time.
You know, I mean, everything that's got
Don't salt the
code
snail.
is
Don't.
connected to SARS.
Oh yeah, they're
It's
fun.
whether
Watching
it
them
be a
swirl up.
tree, insect, mammal, bird, fish.
That's a cool pattern left.
You get your flower of life pattern.
You know what that's called, right?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
know.
but
Seen those before.
That's the pattern that goes over the earth.
Toroidal field. That's like a brain in a way. You know what I mean? It's like the tree's brain. That's maybe its heart. You know what I mean?
It also resembles a face or an
Floating
owl.
off the ground, it communicates
You
with
look
the
at the
planet
head,
like that.
You've got the eyes, and then you've got the beard of the owl.
Oh, it could be though. Yeah.
It could be.
And there's your 4 quadrants. There you go.
So this is like the entire realm is like a chakra, and you've got your positive and your negative and stuff like that, and you've got a middle to everything. You can see like the apple. It's got a top, it's got a bottom, but then it's got a central area. So you could cut that because it's symmetrical through middle.
Yeah, if you cut the apple off crossways, sideways, laterally, or whatever, you'll get the shape of the earth.
So if there's a force going this way and a force going that way, or whichever way it's going, kind of thing.
So, so I have a question for you, though. If this is true, then you have to believe there's a hole in the center of the earth, right? Because they wouldn't. How would the field work if it wasn't the hole in the middle?
Oh God. Well, there had to be
The way you've got the section there, it looks like a flat that shows you where the Earth would be, right inside the sphere, right? You got that right, but I'm saying you have to realize that there'd have to be a hole in the center for all that to like spiral through itself and unwind like that. You do realize that, right?
I don't think you need necessarily a physical hole.
I think you do.
I don't think so. I think whatever would cause this field would actually, if you do it.
Why is there a hole at the top and the bottom of it then? Explain that.
It's not physical. That's one aspect of it.
No, I understand
this is
that,
the spiritual.
Right, but if that's what flows, that's how the universe flows and how all the nature flows by, then it would make sense there'd be a hole in the center of it.
Well, you dropped that word universe, dude.
Oh,
well, the
these
universe
pictures
is
of
Earth.
You know, like, sometimes you get them pictures of Earth when it shows you like an hole at Antarctic, like a really massive black area, and it's like, you know, just looks like a hole. Then maybe there is relevance to it. But we need to explore in that kind of sense to find that.
Yeah, I would rather instead of pre-assuming that there's a giant hole there, look for yourself first.
Find out.
Oh, then go.
We have a torus field. We don't have a we don't have a hole through top of his head, but we do have a mouth. We do have ears. You know what I mean? So he's got holes in that kind of sense in the torus field shape and stuff.
Yeah.
Also, you know, the shape of your skull is actually can be vibrated by different things. You guys looked into that? The pine cones and things. That there's a space inside of your brain that's a certain shape that picks up vibrations from outside. You guys are aware of that too, right?
Well,
Okay, you know, like in a microwave, there's this thing, there's this field generator thing that has, it's shaped like it's a big circle and has little chunks cut out of it. You know what I'm talking about?
You mean the
It's got a
magnetron?
Yeah, magnetron. Right. That's what's inside of your head, right? You know that your skull is shaped like that on the inside. Like the part of where your face is, where your mouth is, that's how it vibrates sound outwardly. It's all based on frequencies, bro.
Yeah.
I got what you're saying,
Yeah,
but I mean,
field.
to say that manifests in nature, I have not seen it personally.
Yeah.
It's in a spiritual sense. So when we feel these frequencies, it's like walking into a room and knowing that this is the wrong room. You know what I mean? There's like the people look at you and stuff like that kind of thing, and you think, "Hey, oh, this is Bobber here. I shouldn't have walked in here." You know what I mean, right? There's no words, there's no physical, right? But you can feel the energy, and so it's like that is how you recognize it, rather than looking at it in a left brain way. That's what science has done. It looks at everything with the left brain, but missing out in the terms of like actually understanding science properly, because it's a left and right brain. Like there is the red and the blue, the plus and the minus. You need to think in both aspects to grasp it in that kind of sense.
Yeah, it's nice. I like the illustration. It is, but even if you look at the Vedic, they did the same art shape, top and bottom, but I think they believe that the sun came through that, like the actual fire, the physical one. Yeah. But they portray it like I'll show you a video one day. I'll have to look for it, dig it up. But it explains what the Vedics believe. But they believe we're on a plane below it, sandwiched in layers, and that's where we get our light source comes through those color plates. It's kind of strange, but
in waves of love, we might be talking about that kind of stuff. Third or fourth series. Fourth series, if you include the trees.
Yeah, I get it. All right, let's play you out here. How long have we been going now? I have no idea.
56 minutes.
Yeah, we're at 57 now. And count. Yeah, so I'll do about another half hour. I should be able to get through this video, I think. And then I want to go touch on a couple other topics right quick, just relevant to what's going on in the realm of our little realm, our little corner of the universe. Just to coin a phrase. I did use the word universe. Right. It's universal. Everything's universal, isn't it? But I mean,
I think it's saying, you know, like the word universe, though, it's just a cosmology term. You know what I mean? I don't think it defines it to be heliocentric as such. You know what I mean? But it's
I mean,
like
when
one
I
song.
speak about universe, I mean that whatever God created with his voice. That's what I mean by universe. One word.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard System of the Down? Any of their music? I'm sure you all have.
We've all heard it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They got one where they actually asked the question, "Why did we light up the sky?"
Aerials.
Yep, Aerials. Good song. Aerials in the sky. Yeah. Sturge has got a weird outtake on life, but I mean, what is he from Romania? I think.
Yeah, I think they're all from Romania.
Yeah, he was the opera singer before he became a rock star. It shows through his music. You can tell he's very dramatic. Even his solo stuff got really strange. I played it on my show for Ryan one night. I don't know if he remembers it. We went through some of Surge's solo stuff.
Yeah, I prefer Scars on Broadway.
Yeah. The sky is up above us. Like, okay, yeah, we got that. But it's very, very melodramatic. Let's put it that way. I think a lot of Eastern Europeans have a weird philosophy, you might say.
They
The way
put
they
on a
look at
heck
it.
of a live concert though.
I bet you they do.
They're
I would have loved to seen them. Have you seen them?
Yeah, I've seen them a couple of times. Once at Ozfest a long time ago. They headlined because Ozzy got sick or something. And then another time I saw them just in Chicago with the Deftones.
Now I have seen it. I have seen the Deftones. Yeah.
Yeah, those are both two good bands, in my opinion.
And the bass player from the Deftones, a flat earther too.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, Stefan. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the lead singer from In Living Color, Corey, he's a flat earther too. There's a couple of mainstream artists, or kind of mainstream artists, that actually do research on their own, I guess, and figure shit out for themselves. Yeah.
Like B.O.B.
Yeah, yeah.
B.O.B. Yeah, but B.O.B.
Haven't heard
got
much
on.
from them lately.
Yeah, no, I haven't heard anything from him in a long time. But he did That's Gravity. Mic drop. B.O.B. The Earth isn't flat, and this is gravity. But then again, he slaps the beach ball. That shit's flat.
But only
We should-
be like 2 millimeters above that beach ball. He gets all angry and shit. I love that because you know what, that proves that he does know the truth. He does have truth in him. It's just he plays a art. You know what I mean?
And
You can tell he in person. I bet you he's a real asshole because he has to preach all this bullshit, and he doesn't like it. I bet you money,
dude. As a person, he's not a very good person, dude.
No, I would bet you he probably is. It's just he's just like everybody else. You get beat down, and after a while, you just go along with whatever because you don't fucking know what else to do. You feel like the world's going to get you if you don't fall in line somewhere, so you eventually just give in. I don't blame people for that.
I can give you some of the lowdown on him, but I'm not going to do it on the channel right now.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying to do that. I'm just saying I would bet you that most of these people that do this stuff probably don't like having to do it. They probably cry at night about all the stupid shit that they push. You know what I mean?
Well, him and Bill Nye both have kind of I would put it a colorful past. Let's say that.
Yeah, well, let's not go there.
I'm not. No. All right, let's play more of that. We're getting sidetracked again. All right, go ahead, Liv.
This is also aired before Globebusters, Witsit, etc. So that's another thing to go over.
You're a pioneer, sir. You're a pioneer.
Well, you guys should realize it doesn't really matter who's pushing flat Earth. It's about who's telling the truth. I mean, we can all at times show the right and the truth, right? But it doesn't mean that we're all for it. That's why I get frustrated with some of the new guys. They come in and they start their own show, and then they start bringing on a bunch of idiots who don't know what they're talking about because they don't understand that they don't know things. They don't have things all figured out. And then they go and start preaching their stuff, and then they're like, somebody comes along and tells them, "Hey, don't do that, dude. What are you doing? You know, like that's not true. That doesn't match up with what you believe in. Think about it." And like, "Oh shit, what did I do?" You know, like.
Yeah, Roger, why you keep letting Ryan on?
I know. Damn it. You had for it, dude. You separated into that. That was a nice little joke.
I'm talking about specific people, but it's like I told you guys before. Remember when well, not all of you, but Roger, you remember when we met and I told you, I said I'm no respecter of persons. I'm not on somebody's side. If somebody goes down the wrong road, I'm jumping off the ship. You know what I mean? I'm not going to stick around if somebody starts preaching a bunch of bullshit. I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah, I hear you.
You know what I mean? And that's happened to a lot of people that have come through, in this, I guess, our little shadowed area of flat Earth, whatever you want to call it, flat Earth movement or whatever. But it's like, I don't know.
Whoa,
I think it's just people that are sick of being lied to. I don't know what you want to call the movement. You're just sick of all the fake crap.
And it's obvious what's fake. I mean, you can just dial it in. And anybody, just break quick, did anybody see Jaron try to defend NASA? That's kind of really weird.
I don't watch the guy. I can't stand him.
No, it's like if you ever watched him in the past, and I've watched some of his stuff.
I've seen some of his old stuff. Yeah.
digs into NASA, shows you how fake it is, and now he's trying to defend their rocket launches on his streams. I know.
Well, he's going to be part of Duffy, or Duffy's kind of referencing him in his new little side project. The final the final experiment continues.
The final experiment goes on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just trying to get a Netflix series.
Oh yeah. Next thing you know, we'll be seeing Duffy on TV like Elliot Ness. No, I don't want to see it, dude. What do you got to do to become like that? It seems like he changed his shape and form, and he's willing to go out here and try to do this and do that. He's driven by something. What is it? What drives Duffy?
Jared and Duffy. And Duffy.
Yeah, Jaren's not driven. Jaren's a puppet, dude.
I mean, have you looked at you ever looked into Bob Enyart? He's literally just continuing on his legacy.
I never got to get a feel for him. I just heard a couple of clips from him, and
Yeah.
like people said, stay away from it, and I'm like, okay.
Well, that was Bob Enyart's whole thing. He wanted to end flat Earth too, and Will Duffy was his producer, and Enyart was his mentor. So I mean, it kind of falls right in line with what he used to do.
Yeah. Well, I just hope I don't. Well, I hope I actually do one day, because I mean, I'm in his town, dude. I probably buy from the same store he buys from. And just bump into him like, what's up?
You think he hangs out with the commoners? Please.
No, he don't. Dude, I would have seen him already, dude.
Right.
I've been here for 3 years.
Yeah.
And the only time I got to see him is at his church, and he met me and he lied to me right out of the gate. And like, okay, that's just one for the books. So you start off on that, but you know where the rest of it's going to go.
Did he recognize you or no?
No, he invited me over
Oh,
to his
I didn't
church.
know. Okay.
Yeah. So I caught him right when he started this whole final experiment thing. Sorry to get sidetracked again, Lev, but
Yeah, sorry.
I sent a super chat. He went on a show called Autodidactic.
Mhm.
A guy named Campbell does a show, and
Yeah,
I've been supporting him since he started.
Mhm.
And I sent him a super chat because I saw Duffy on there pushing this final experiment, and I was wondering what the hell it was all about. I didn't know who Duffy really was, and I'm like, hey, Duffy. He actually called out Flatsoid on the show, and I've been watching Flatsoid for a while then, and I'm like, he seems to be a little abrasive, but he's claiming to be in the truth, and he wants the truth. So I sent him a super chat. Hey, Duffy, I live in your town. Hey, Duffy, I'm on Flatsoid's panel. Hey, Duffy, can I come over and see you? And he invited me over to his church, 9 a.m. on a Sunday morning. So I went over to his church and met him in the back at the Sunday school part of the section. He said he wanted me to do a presentation on flat Earth in his church. That's what he invited me over to do. And I'm like, okay. So I get there, and he was supposed to email me and set this thing up, and he never emailed me back. He went over, yeah, we emailed you, and he grabbed his phone and he showed me an email, and I looked on my phone, I didn't get the email. So basically, what happened in between here and there, he sent the email when I met him. I didn't think he thought I was going to show up, is what it is.
Mhm.
He thought I was a troll or something. I wanted to go to his church and do a presentation on flat Earth, and that never happened either. He never got back in touch with me for that. He never emailed me back, never said anything else. And then I narrowed him out again, and I called him on the phone when he got the experiment ready to go, and he wanted to bring flat earthers along. And I got him to promise me that he would take me along. Well, I didn't make him. I asked him if I could. And he said I could promote my GoFundMe on his network. And I set up a GoFundMe, and I worded it like this. I said, I'm here for the truth and to end fraud in the community. That's what my GoFundMe said. He said it wasn't worded for his liking. So I reworded it, sent it back to him, and I never heard back from him again. He never emailed me back, never called me, never tried to get in touch with me. He already said the golden ticket happened right after that, and they just wished everybody off, and he never got a hold of me to say anything about sponsoring my GoFundMe to send me with them. They didn't want me to go along with them on the trip.
Mhm.
Yeah, but that's the only interactions I've had with Duffy. And I mean, he lives 8 to 12 miles from here, where I'm at, somewhere in the neighborhood.
What does Autodidactic think of him, or does he have an opinion of him?
Well, he was just giving him a little bit of lip service there on his show, letting him present. He was coming off like, I'm going to find out whether it's a globe or flat. He was playing that, yeah, I'm for the truth thing. And that's what he was presenting on Autodidactic show.
I'm just kind of surprised he was on there.
Yeah, I was too. That's why I said something to him in the middle, like, dude, what's he doing here? we already kind of bumped into him on Flat Slate show, and he seemed disingenuous. And he went to Sean Kingdom in Context and lied on there too. He started out lying to everybody, and then he lied to me at the church over here in the process. So it seems like everything he started off with was just basically just lying about it. And I guess people didn't know who Bob Iger really was.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really know who he was either. I didn't know what his agenda was. But yeah, I've heard his clip where he's like, I want to take all the flat earthers, put them on a rocket, and shoot them into space. I heard him exactly say that. Like, okay, this guy sounds like a nice guy. Where did flat Earth touch you at?
Yeah.
I mean, if you heard of it,
I highlighted his name, Duffy's name, and mentioned to him that I've done an example of like a 24-hour sun in South, like long before TFE came. You know what I mean? So he's ignored it because I've highlighted his name, so he must have seen it. You know what I mean? I've done it several times. But then he goes.
He looks at all those things.
No one's. Everyone believes that the sun will set, and you know there's no alternative. And, you know, and it's like, you know, it's blatantly lying. You know. I'm not the only one. There's other truthers which have suggested in that kind of sense. Like FPV's got the Mercator map, and you can have the 24-hour sun there in that kind of sense as well. So there are alternatives. So it's, you know, I don't know, highlighting that lie.
Well, even what the Flat Earth Society actually said, that there's a southern antipodal celestial sun that they had record of way back in the 1800s.
What do you think about the Flat Earth Society? Do you really?
Well, it depends on what they're talking about. They do make valid points when it comes to the pseudo crap that they pushed out back then with Cavendish and all them. They called them out on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, they did some good stuff, but then again, it seems like they fell into the kind of the political underbelly to a point. So they're in it. They were in it for the money in the long run and the prosperity. Yeah. The same with Bible preachers today, like the multi-million-dollar Creflo Dollars, Kenneth Copeland's, people like that they're not out there trying to help their congregations. Out there trying to bankroll whatever they're going to do next.
Yeah,
you know?
Also, yeah.
If they were really for the people, they wouldn't be buying Learjets and stockpiling their house full of everything. They would be out there handing it out to people who can't afford it because the government won't put them to work and they get lost their jobs and stuff. That's what they should be doing with the money. The church is supposed to be taking care of the body of Christ, not, you know, pissing in their face and lying to them, calling them demons in the process.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's just my opinion.
No, I can't agree with that.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I kind of sidetracked you there.
Yeah. Well, praise God, and let's play some more Live. All right.
Energetic force, which is not really detectable as far as like modern technologies been able to prove as such, or at least to the public anyway. But this could be like a force for what kind of creates the downforce. You know what I mean? It's like it's very, very light, if anything, which is like, you know what I mean, what they say, what they assume to be gravity or whatever and stuff like. But well, like I said, it's like my weight against the Earth, the entire mass of the globe Earth and all that kind of stuff. Like, it'd crush me, you know what I mean? So then when I've got like cigarette ash and it maintains its structure, you know what I mean, it don't get squashed to the Earth. So, you know what I mean? But there's a downforce, you know what I mean? There's an up and down, and there's a cause for things to go in the direction of down with its, you know, if it's denser and all that kind of stuff. Like, so if this is just the energy flow of it, you know what I mean? It's just on a different light frequency, so we can't recognize it, we can't spot it, you know. Again, all these spirals. They're everywhere on like Buddhist buildings and stuff.
Now, those dogs live. What are those called?
A lion.
That's a lie. Yeah, I thought they were called. There's like a Chinese dog that looked similar to that, but that's
Armadillo, you dummy.
a what?
Looks like an armadillo to me.
Armadillo.
Oh, the
Yeah.
previous picture.
On the bottom right, an armadillo.
Oh yeah, I'm talking about the previous picture, dude, with the Chinese statue. I thought it was called a dog of some sort, but it's a lion.
It's a lion. It doesn't look like a lion. That's because the artist wasn't very good, I guess. You know, there's a lot of art in the world where people just don't know how to make things look right, but people like it anyway.
Well, yeah. The more I look at it again here like this, that does look cat-like to me, though. The mane looks a little frou-frou. I think it was. They were dressing up lions back in.
They tried to make them look like dragons, but
Yeah.
I think it was just for the dark.
Yeah. In myth and lore, the dragon and the lion are one and the same critter. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not confusing, is it?
No, not at all.
Why didn't they put a wolf then? That's a joke. That's a Mandela joke, by the way.
Yeah, I'm not afraid of wolves. I'm more afraid of coyotes because coyotes are not afraid of people at all. They have no fear of people. If you ever run into,
trust me, coyotes fear me.
Uh,
Coyotes fear me. They fear me.
I went on a hike one night, man, and by the time I got back out in the AMs, I'm walking through in the early dusk dawn. I mean, and I had a coyote actually come after me. He started to charge me. I'm like, all right.
You just need an
He must have rabies or something, bro. Normally they won't attack you unless they're in full form, and that's usually like 15 or 20 of them. So generally, you won't even see them until there's 15 or 20 of them. Trust me, they're not.
You just need an Acme handle hammer.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah,
that's all I need. I was getting back to my neighborhood, and this one followed me up onto the road almost, and tried to come after me coming into my neighborhood because I was up in the Munns Park at it's the South Rim Canyon area, and they're out there, but you don't see them that often. But this one was really bold, man. He looked at me sideways and started running toward me at a side angle, like he's getting ready to go. I didn't wait around for it. I was carrying a stick, so I slapped it on the ground, scared the crap out of it. But I never had one do that to me. It was really strange, and the look he gave me, it was kind of eerie in a way.
Might have been rabbit or something.
Could have been, yeah. But I thought that was a bold coyote, man. He's coming right up at. All right, I'm going to turn the level up a little bit because his volume was down low. I didn't have this volume set properly. Are you ready again? I love the spiral technique. It's all throughout nature, and according to the galaxies, I've never seen one personally. But if you're in the spiral, yeah,
I just included that picture.
Blueberry. My blueberry.
That ain't making any sense, Ryan. What'd you say?
I have a blueberry here. See the shape of the blueberry? Notice how it has a hole in the bottom of it? Notice how it has a hole on both sides? You notice that? So why would the Earth be any different?
Than a blueberry? Well, I can think of several different reasons.
Think about it.
It's showing you the shape of a torus field. That's the spiritual aspect of it. And the physical aspect of it is the flat plane within it.
Well, I think
it has a center line.
The way the light current flows through the nature we have now. Yeah, but that's the sun, not the exact Earth itself. The Earth has a mechanism that help. They coincide. I think personally, that's just my opinion. I don't see that the whole Earth is a torus field. I see it in nature. Yeah, it's relevant here and there. But there are other things too. There are other, like the Fibonacci sequence here. That's not quite like a torus field. Exactly. It's like one half of it.
Earlier in the video, I was showing you chakra. I was showing you the spiral and how that fits within the torus field. It's one and the same thing. It's just you're seeing it from a different angle. That's like the top view. Or the inside view.
Yeah, I've seen this in all vegetation too. I've been through you cut an apple in half, you'll actually connect the torus field through the apples, and The oranges have the same thing as it runs through the center, and the seeds feed into where the nutrients comes from the oranges and stuff. Yeah, I understand this principle in nature, and
Exactly.
yeah, I'm well aware of it. But I don't think the earth itself is that.
And you
Feeds.
close your mind to it once we get there. Okay.
Yeah, no, the fact it doesn't blow my mind, dude. My mind's pretty well set on what I know. So yeah, I see that the way energy flows around the earth, not is the earth. The earth was put here by God to grow that energy. Okay.
Is the torus field is the causation for the matter in this existence, though, as well. It's like the torus field is the foundation more than anything else.
The pattern.
So I'm not going to completely agree with you. I do have other opinions on it. I do think that the waters have a lot more to do with what than
Absolutely.
the shape with the station of the earth, and it keeps everything stable. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
it keeps an ebb and flow to it. But I don't see that everything spiritual has a necessarily a torus field, because if it flowed within nature, then there wouldn't be any other problems we have now. There are other things that are at play. There are other parts of it that we can't put our fingers on, and that's what we should investigate. There's supernatural things that are actually causing all the problems we have within our societies and everything that don't flow with it. There's something
that's
seriously
the
wrong.
government's influence. That's not the natural order of the world in that kind of sense and stuff. Yeah. And so
but
when the government's influencing it, they're using what isn't natural. You know what I mean? So that's why it disrupts it. It's like, move next door to a 5G tower. You know what I mean? And things aren't going to be good ever.
No,
you know what I mean?
I think you're saying.
You won't sleep well. Everything.
My daughter lives less than 2 blocks from a huge tower. Now it controls all the data and information out of like 3 different institutions over here, and I don't see anything around it, like any kind of vegetation at all. It's just right in the middle, like a 5-mile radius right here from where I'm at.
There's radio waves, chemtrails, there's TV frequencies, and all these kind of things. Everything which kind of like it puts us out of step in a sense. You know what I mean? We're being bombarded from every direction. Whether it's from your mind to physical. You know what I mean, and stuff. Like the food you eat, etc. Pharmaceutical industry, all of it. You know what I mean? That's what's wrong in the world. Like back when the giant forests were there, it probably was a utopia. You know what I mean? It's gonna like look at the progress that people had, look at the technology and advancements which are kind of like bewildering for today and all that kind of stuff. Then that's working with nature. What the government are offering now is to work against nature, to hide nature, to remove it from you. You know what I mean? And it's gonna like that's the most beneficial thing that we've got. It's gonna like if we work with nature, then we can fix the world. You know what I mean? And the government, that's what I mean. It's like I don't believe that they're human. You know what I mean? It's there's something more in that and stuff like it.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm talking about. Like there's something else, an entity of some sort, you might say, that's pushing this.
Yeah. You've got like the devil for one thing, haven't you?
Yeah. Known by plenty of names too. Yeah. Isn't he?
Yeah, a bit like the machine race. It's gonna like like I mentioned before, that's what I think it is. It's like the same thing. It's gonna like separated from God, and he lost the gifts which was with it. So it was no longer immortal. So he had to build a machine to download his consciousness onto, and then it could continue to exist. And so now is attacking this realm and trying to, because they must have used the machines to like destroy the forests, I think, and then because it's more than that, it's a spiritual war. So like destroying the forest is one thing, you know what I mean? It disconnects us massively and all that kind of stuff. But really, to win the battle, they need to win your soul or whatever, that kind of thing. partly, alternatively, it's just remove you from nature. You know what I mean? And then there's less coordination between us and the realm. Us and the realm need to work together. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that's the big thing in that kind of sense. It's like with a forest being cut down, it's got like the spiritual amnesia that's been created because of it. It's like the more that we connect with nature, the more that we're clearing that amnesia. You know what I mean? And it's kind of
I
like,
get you.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
it's just like like when you ever take a vacation, you go out to the forest for 2 weeks, and just when you get back, you're completely refreshed, right?
yeah,
It's like you went to church, dude. You know?
yeah. It's better than it is it's like the proper church.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? You're closer to God. You know what I mean? In that kind of sense.
I get you.
God, male and female, not one but two soulmate entities. Which,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? They're the yin and the yang of the realm in that kind of sense and stuff like. So that's what I mean when I say God. It's like both, but not as one entity as such. Like the divine heavenly Father and the earthly mother in that kind of representation.
Well, you think that anybody in the government that actually are in environmental control agencies and stuff
There
like
you
that
go.
actually think like that at all? No. I think they've lost the plot a long time ago. And I think that the number one problem is that people get a taste of what you call the good life, or and they don't look back, dude. And they go down that prodigal road, dude, and they never get a chance to stop and actually live life. They're chasing a fortune that they'll never obtain, and that means I'm talking about even the billionaires. They'll never have it.
Chasing the dragon.
Yeah, it's a shame, dude. Uh, and I blame that on government and the institution and the Fed for the most part. They're responsible for funding this stuff. They'll do anything to maintain that grip on society. They want total control over society. That's why they made the monetary systems so powerful. And the branches of the government, they have the final say in everything. They put a rubber stamp on it. It's all good gold. That's just wrong. That's not what our government was actually built to be to start with. That needs to go back to the way it was. There was a point in time when there was a kind of a justice to a point here and there in legislation and in government, but it's
kind of. It's like the agenda was still going though. It's kind of like I kind of think in those times they were like dangling the carrot basically. It's like follow our lead and we'll take care of you. And now look at us. You know what I mean? It's kind of like things aren't. You know what I mean? People used to go on holiday all the time. You know what I mean? And I don't know anybody who goes on holiday.
Nope. But then they get big, dumb, stupid, and then you want to fight over some of the most trivial horse shit in the world. I've seen people get stabbed over the stupidest stuff or got shot because there's no rhyme or reason to it, and it all had to stem with material things, not necessarily just materialism, just over what they had. And I mean, they put their life on the line to protect the way they think or something, or the way they feel about it, and they get into an argument and stupid things happen, dude. And they're not in touch with any of this kind of stuff at all. If people would get back to it, there would be less of a problem. You agree? And if we start there, that would be a really good place to start. It would help strengthen society instead of, oh, let's make another program. We'll throw some more money at it. Maybe we'll fix the problem. Instead of actually talking to the people that have the problem and try to solve the actual problem. Money is not the solution to all the problems. Neither is anything that they've concocted within Washington's halls that has brought anything that's any good in the last 100 years, at least, to say the least. Yeah.
Well, I think even the whole the globe flat Earth debate. I mean, that's kind of has a lot to do with it too. Like if they keep everybody fighting amongst each other, then they keep all the attention off themselves. You know, as long as they got you looking over one way and doing something else in another direction. You know, a weaker population is going to be easier to control, basically.
Yeah, if you're dumb, stupid, weak, and can't do anything for yourself, and you have to rely on what they're handing out and what you see on the TV as truth, and what if you feel life that way, you're not going to get it no further than they want you to.
Yeah.
Like you're limited.
And that's why we're the most dangerous people, because that's why they have to continue doing that. Sending out their army of disinformation. I hate to use that word, but disinformation agents, Duffy and whatnot. Huh?
Yeah. He came in on the flats today. He swore that I gave him the link to get on the show.
Who is that?
Disinformation agent.
Oh.
the actual character.
I didn't mean that guy, but yeah, I just mean in general, just the people that, the Duffys of the world who are out there just trying to dispel everything.
Yeah. Well, I don't think he's trying to make peace in that regards. I mean,
no, he's even trying to bring down the Bible. People who fall in line with him won't look at it that way, but we can see it.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually a good moral standard just from the go. That there's not everything in the Bible is actually like perfect or constructed the way you want it to be, but to get mad at a theosophy like that and try to take it out, you're going to lose. And even Napoleon said the Bible is a living book, just to quote him. And I think he learned his lesson too when it came to it. You don't go against. I think there's something about it. There's something living to it. It's alive in a way. Atheists. We did a show on them today too. Two of them. One of them is a complete moron, dude. He's an idiot, and all they did was ad hom this guy. This guy wasn't preaching flat Earth or anything. He just had questions about some of their theories, and he went on their show, and they tried to just make him seem like an idiot and ad hom him, and didn't let him talk the whole time he was on there. That's their tactic, and they want to come off as like, oh, I'm super smart, but they're really just they're spiteful, and they hate it for some reason. I don't know where the hatred comes from. I never grew up hating anything biblically or any other religion for that matter. I don't hate Buddhists. I don't hate anybody who has a religion personally. And I think they want to keep them in the religious camps and berate them and belittle them in the process. Oh, you believe that? Yeah, I think government's responsible for atheism.
Oh, sure, yeah. Yeah, they want to break down the tenets of any religion.
Yeah, I mean, like what the Buddhist monks were protesting the wars over in Southeast Asia the entire time. That was their biggest. They didn't want people to die over material goods or the process of obtaining such. And the government and the politics are the ones actually killing people out there to get it from them. They're going into native lands and they're just, I want that, I want this. So they'll start a war over it. And they'll spin everybody else's dogma into hatred. And then they cause so much static, they could actually create a war with the media. And they use it like a spearhead. Now we're over in Vietnam. Now we're in Cambodia. Now we're in Thailand. Oh, we're going to go to war with Japan and China today. And they're still doing it now. They're doing it in Ukraine and all the rest of the place. And you notice it's mostly in the media, right?
Oh, yeah.
You see? Yeah. So if they got your attention with that idiot box in the 6 o'clock news, 9 o'clock news, and they're bombarding you with all this video of people getting blown up or stories about it, and it's just the process. It weighs on people. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't even think as many people watch TV. Well, they definitely don't. As many people don't watch TV anymore, and it's like invading every corner of the internet too. Like articles that you see online or whatever, or other people. Well, even it seems like all these shows on, if you watch, let's just say YouTube, like everything's a debate. It's debate this, debate that. It's
Christian versus Muslim. Yeah, I see that on. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like debate. Like debates is like the hot thing. It's like they just want to conquer and divide everything.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry about that, Levin. Anything else you want to start before we watch more of this? We're just ad libbing here,
No,
I think.
cool.
All right. Yeah, there is a Torres field. I do see what you're saying, but I don't know if it's like the Earth itself. I don't know if the solid structure of the Earth at its center is. There's a lot of nuances that flow with it. Yeah, but I think it's has a stronger foundation, and the trees I think are the biggest finger to say. Yeah, it maybe it's an artifact of it. You see what I'm saying?
Well,
Like,
everything's a micro of a macro in that kind of sense. So, like the trees, the spirit of the tree, the Taurus field of the tree, of the human, everything is a micro of that macro. So it's comparing ourselves to that in that kind of way. It is one of the foundations for for the series, basically. You know what I mean? The origins of life and stuff like so. As the series goes through, you might be more convinced. It's up to you in that kind of sense, but at the same time, what we're going to say, I'm not sure if they'll like provide the evidence for that in this series of like provided the concept, you know what I mean? But as the series goes on, there's more which connects it all in that kind of sense and stuff. Because I do like cosmology bits, you know what I mean? Like this has got that cosmology bit there with Taurus field Earth and stuff like so. Well, that's what it is. It's the chakra. It's consciousness. That's why we're conscious in that kind of sense.
I get you.
So the realm is conscious as well. It's like as we're a micro of a macro, that realm is like that is us. You know what I mean? So do you know like the face episode, and you can see the sun's reflection in the water. So that's where we're laid down. We're laid down, and we're in synchronized with the earth. Then when we go to sleep, you know what I mean? His body's stationary and the earth's stationary. But when we're awake, we can move around and stuff like that. Like spirit moves, it's always in motion. So as we are a micro of a macro, we connect to the realm directly as we're like integrated into the chakra experience and stuff like of consciousness. So to me, it makes a lot of sense. It's kind of like it's kind of like I just find things which kind of like correlate with it. You know what I mean? So it becomes more and more self-evident as you go through the series and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I definitely have seen the Nautilus plenty of times, and that's always been quite a symbol since I was a kid. They've actually within our society, there are people who threw that symbol up into a lot of different things. It's one of the most mythical creatures that are still around. It's like they're hard to find, from what I understand, right? They live at depths that we can't stand the pressure from, right? They're bottom dwellers, you might say, but they're very, very cohesive with your theory for sure. And I still think that the sun and the moon have a lot more influence than a lot of people brush past.
They're part of them. The most recent series kind of goes into that in that kind of sense, about the consciousness of it and stuff like the sun and the moon, but just chakras of the realm in that kind of sense, or the wandering stars, the chakras, and also like that biblical reference of like Alpha Omega, the beginning, the end, and all that kind of stuff. Like so, like it's referencing Jesus to be the sun and the moon. You know what I mean? So. And that's what it's showing you, like spirit. It's time's different. So if the sun is the beginning of the realm and the moon is the end of the realm, or something like that, I'm not sure. But because it's there's a lot of things that kind of throw it off in a sense, because you've got the yin and the yang aspect of things. So the moon seems to be like solid, but the yin aspect of it, the light, the sun, that's just pure energy. That's light energy, pure. It's God, you know what I mean? That's us and all that kind of stuff. Like so, that's when we look up and we see a reflection of the realm, and that's what it is. That's the sun. That's us. That's what we look like from outside. But like
I'm
the black
definitely
hole,
I'm gonna have to sit down and watch that.
Yeah, there's imperceivable light within this light spectrum. We can only see a little bit of it, can't we? But like the full spectrum of it and stuff like that kind of thing. So in terms of imperceivable, that is an aspect of it. So when you look up into the sky, you can't see the sun coming from us as such, but we do see its reflection. But that's like up at one at domes.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Is this an octopus up at the top here, bud? I'm just kidding. I have no idea what that is.
I think so. Top right.
Yeah. And that looks like an elephant trunk to me over here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we definitely are. The nature itself imprints into nature. The sun and the moon are actually very prevalent. And I mean, God made them to rule the day and the night. And I think some people may have that backwards. What rule means, God made one light to rule the day, one light to rule the night. Think about it. Just saying. Just try like flipping it around in your head.
If it's consciousness.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking like, as to say, the day is ruled by the sun, is it? Or is the sun rule the night? I don't think there's any. I think it's a divide for anything. But you notice that you do see the moon in the sun sky, correct?
Yeah.
Why don't you see the sun in the moon sky? That's always bothered me for some reason. There's something about it, like there's something to it. There's a mystery there. Like, who's really controlling the situation?
Oh, the coral video. Remember the coral shot which proved the globe? Apparently, we're using it to prove the globe. I said it didn't prove the globe. It shows that time worked differently at some points. So days might have been longer in past or shorter, or whichever way around it were. But so there's that kind of correlation. So like, say if the sun's in sync, but the moon's out of sync. So maybe that is changing speed, like slightly over time and stuff like that kind of thing. And eventually it'd match speed with sun, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I see it more of an infinite plane, you know what I mean, in terms of time. So there won't be an end. I don't know, you know what I mean, and stuff like. It's gonna like maybe it separates those aspects of itself to create the infinity. You know what I mean? So then you see those aspects of itself, the beginning and the end in the sky. I don't know, there's a lot to contemplate, but
it is. All right, let's play some more of your video right quick so we get this thing on the ball.
Is it muted?
Animals.
Yeah, that.
From when they're very young. That's where you can see it. It's like once they're developed, that's what they just grow after that. You don't really get to see how the chakras develop in it as such. But again, you can see the 2-point thing, and also, the shape, obviously. This is like looking inside a chakra. You get your 2 points, and then you got your spirals, which connect to overhand and stuff, which is also like a night sky in a way, if we kind of compare it in a way. And where is it now? It's almost like suggesting that would be on its side, but it's not, you know what I mean? I don't know. No.
I clarify this in the most recent series as well, because it was quite confusing. It's like, which way around is it? You know what I mean? It's gonna like.
I got you. You could have a horizontal and a vertical plane in there, right?
Yeah.
But it makes sense, though. I mean, in a 3-dimensional world that we do live in, yeah, it would make sense, wouldn't it? Yeah, you have to have a horizontal and a vertical in order to create a realm like what we have now, correct?
That's you got your cross there as well.
You can't have one without the other, can you? Somebody
No,
thinks that
not
we can have
leaning.
just verticals in a plumb bob. It makes the world go round. That's the coin of phrase. Not that we actually go around, but you follow where I'm going. Like there's some people who actually think that you can build a world like that, and everything's just dirt and mud in between. There's nothing else to it. That's really superficial, I think. Not to say there's not an external force that keeps our world together as it is. And
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what you're
Well,
trying
that's
to.
what the yeah, that's what the Taurus field. That's what that kind of shows. It shows it like this is the bubble of consciousness of what we live in, we experience and stuff. We're part of it all, but we separate to exist in this part of it, to experience and stuff like that kind of thing. But there's also a spiritual war going on, so there's more going on. It's not in its normal state. It's supposed to be a place of happiness and joy and all these kind of things and stuff. But the government push upon this suffering and stuff, ill health and poverty, war, etc.
Yeah. So the darker aspects of the underbelly of society, that's where it comes from, right? And so they feed off of that. They feed off that energy.
The
I
government
can't.
force it. It
Yeah.
wouldn't exist if the government didn't push it upon people.
Yeah. If it would just go
crime
back to a
exists.
natural state. Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah. It takes some time to develop that. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, waiting for the plants to do their thing, or you know what I mean? I think just working with nature, you know what I mean? It just, people would just be happier, you know what I mean? In terms of that kind of thing.
I hear you. Juno says that there's no more heroes anymore. Yeah, Juno, I don't think we need heroes, dude. If we let nature take back over, things would be set straight, I think, to a point. And I think God made nature to work a certain way. It does a good job with itself. It actually even cleans up after itself most of the time. It's just when
Yeah.
people start playing God and heroes and villains, it starts fucking the whole thing up. Personally,
Okay, Jonah. Catch him at there.
yeah. And by the way, I'm going to play some Jim Anus's videos here in a minute. How long have we been going? Almost 2 hours. We barely got there yet.
1:45.
I know. The Stranglers. They're everywhere. Nice one, Juno. Look out for the dregs and the lions.
We've been spiraling.
Oh, yeah. Spiral out. Ooh. All right, let's play some more of this and we'll get out of here.
Obviously, better contemplation and stuff. But we see it again here. You see, you got 1 point there, and you got your 1 point here, and you got all your lines. It's exactly the same as what that is, but that's like from the inside. Again, you got 2 points. You got your crown chakra, you got your root chakra. Your root chakra is connected to all this. This is inside an egg yolk. So you got your little chicken developing there. So all this, like I say, it's like root systems. We've got these are the nerves and all that kind of stuff. So as it's growing,
that almost looks like the female. Just saying. Are you following me here?
Just say it, Roger. Just say it.
Yeah. Well, you know what I mean. You've seen it before. That's where you came from, and that's where you're going next.
That's where I'm going next.
I don't know.
Oh, I got you.
That's usually our primary goal, isn't it, guys?
True.
Yeah. It drives you, but I mean, don't get stupid in the process. That's all I got to say. Yeah. But I mean, sometimes it makes you stupid, doesn't it? Or it seems that way. Yeah. But I mean, you see this throughout nature. It's like you can tell it's imprinted in everything, right? Both male and female. It's a natural thing. Let's put it that way. All right, let's finish this off.
It's growing. It's going to develop, and all this will come down and become its skin around it and muscle and all that kind of stuff. And it's also like an example of the micro and the macro. It's like in this little chick's world, you know what I mean, nothing exists outside of it as such as, you know what I mean, all this, that's the micro, and this is the macro. Once it grows and develops, it'll just be the micro, and the outside world, once it comes out of its shell, that is the macro, which it's one of anyway, because of the heart-brain network of the forest that we live in. Even though it's so damaged now, you know, but we're still part of it, and that's our macro. You know, it's like that's how we're all connected. Every human, every animal, every plant is connected in that sense because we're all part of that same family. That's like trees in America, trees in Russia. You know what I mean? In a sense, we're kind of connected, you know, in a way, but maybe it's not difficult to see because of light.
That brings up a question right quick, Lev and Chad. Do you actually think this place was actually mapped out and named this at one point in time, or this world, this realm had a different name, different set of
maybe Earth might still be, because it's like the relevance of like Earth mixing it up and it becomes heart, then it's like the heart realm, it's the heart chakra, so you know, the center of creation and all that kind of stuff. So your heart is your most potent chakra. It's where your memories are stored. Your brain's a processor. When I had brain damage, I couldn't process what I wanted to say, but I did want to say things. You know what I mean? In terms of like the communication came from the heart. You know what I mean? I know for a fact in that kind of sense and stuff like so. It's like that's the heart brain is the biggest one. We call it a brain as well, don't we? Your stomach, brain, stomach in your stomach as well.
There's
So
a
you get
really
your
good book.
pantheons.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you.
Oh, go on.
Oh, I was just gonna say there's a really good book about the chakras. I'm trying to let me look it up here. I'll get back with you in a second.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I was going to say something to Joyce. Yeah, remember Corexit? she's there talking about the Exxon Valdez. They came up with a chemical process to try to separate the oil from the water, or that would actually clean the and all it did was just collect the oil, and it brought it to the plant life and everything else. And when it got into, and the people were getting sick really bad after the Exxon Valdez thing. Yeah, that was. Anytime government gets involved, they got a solution for a problem they created, but it makes more problems in the long run. So they definitely aren't on nature's side at all. It's just jacked up. So don't if you get a chance to get rid of the government, get on board. I'm pretty sure they'll be happy about it, but yeah, they don't know what they're doing at all. They're worse than kids in the sandbox. They got the opposite of the Midas touch. They got a touch that kills everything off, and I think they are the epitome of what the devil is. The more and more I think about it, would you agree there? I think I'm pretty much spot on with my
that's
analysis.
what we're working for.
Yeah, they're working.
It's full of it. They even tell you, don't they? Like, you know, like Trump's building used to be that 666 building and whatever else and stuff kind of thing, Skull and Bones and etc.
Yeah. And the bottom feeders that feed off of it, like the people like the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds who like to fund it, never get really involved in it. They just want to pay for somebody else to do all their dirty work for them. Yeah, maybe they are the devil. Maybe they are the minions that work for them that propagate this stuff.
So that's why they're pushing all this technology. You know what I mean? Like all the Elon Musk stuff and AI stuff and that downloading your consciousness onto their computers, and you know what I mean? It's gonna like, it's quite worrying. Because that's what we're replacing us with. You know what I mean? They don't want us to exist. So that it's just very inhuman. It's quite scary.
Oh yeah, I agree completely. So let's try to hang on to our humanity as much as we can and treat each other like humans. We're all basically good people, but there are the bad seeds amongst us. It's just like, and to feed into their narcissism and all their bad traits. Just it's not making you healthier; it's making it worse. Musk is a powerful bad odor. Yeah, it is. So Super has a good quote. He's a son of a politician. It's just like what's the prime minister of Canada? What's his name? Justin Trudeau. You know where he came from, right?
Where?
Oh, he's the bastard son of a man named Fidel Castro.
I don't know.
He actually is. He truly is, and they don't advertise it. But if you dig into his past, he's the illegitimate son of Fidel Castro. His mother was in Cuba, and his father or her husband was the what's the word I'm looking for? He was the American ambassador to Cuba, I think, and she had an affair with Fidel Castro, and voila, Justin Trudeau. They get a picture and compare them to. You'll see what I'm saying. He's the son of a communist dictator, Fidel Castro. Strange.
I've seen Trudeau. He wore a flat Earth reference at some point. I'm sure I've wore a flat Earth video. I think he mentioned it.
Yeah, he did, but he was fascinated with flat earthers, but now he's pushing space travel and globalism like full speed. Like what's that guy's name? Duffy. Same thing. And he's pushing it for Canada and the U.S. Yeah. I don't get it, man. They make it 180 fast. They make it hard. I don't like where this flat earth stuff's taking me. No, get me up here.
Yeah. I'm suspicious with Jelen from before TFE. I kind of think that he were probably involved with Toon and Duffy, maybe even from the beginning. You know what I mean? From the beginning of his channel or something, maybe. You know, and the people's respect and get the narrative of that he's the leading flat earther and stuff. It's not shadow banned like everybody else is, and then he does the turncoat thing. You know, as a media stunt. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I get you. But I mean, I was bold enough to call him out straight on his face on his show before he went on his little trip. It is like, and I pointed out the dichotomy he was trying to push on everybody to start with. I did it live on his Speaker's Corner, but he's deleted those since then. I went looking for him. But I saved the clips. They're in my shows. Because I went on live on my show. Yeah. So I'm not scared of the pumpkin. He's a big influence for like a lot of people that are on the edge of either side of this, and they'll fall either way he pushes. He's like dominoes, you know. They'll fall.
No, I think we'll end up winning. You know what I mean? I think like the truth, it always does. You know what I mean? That's like the spiritual concept of it and stuff like. And we are in a spiritual realm, so. You know, that's just how it is. It's kind of like, you know, the deception will be seen through, especially if we're like going through his ascension process, like the realm itself is like a flower opening up, you know what I mean? So instead of being like a flower bud and it's closed off in spiritual darkness, it'll open, and you know, it's gonna like the frequencies of the realm might kind of even change and stuff like. So you know, like we'll have more optical frequency, so we can see more, you know what I mean, that kind of way.
Somebody just called me a force of nature. Sorry, DeWitt called me a force of nature. I'm not a force of nature. I'm just part of it, man. I'm just one dude. All right, let's finish this thing off, or call it quits. But I want to finish it off. Let's get through it.
Frequencies and all those kind of things, and also because of the damage that the forest has had. You know, with the Great Fire, the trees missing and all that kind of stuff, what it could have produced. This is what it could have produced. And what it did produce, you know. That's just another example of it. You got your two polar points in a sense. Fibonacci spiral, Claudian ratio in the human body, in all living things and stuff like that. You got that there. which, if that spiral connects to like other dimensions, like so when we're talking
Well,
about,
it's also good for picking up sound, ain't it? And actually
Yeah.
comprehending what you hear. It's a wonderful mechanism, isn't it? And I mean, that just happened out of nothing. Just like any of the rest of like your glands or anything else in your human body, it just it just grew out of
Seemingly.
blah.
But yeah, there's an explanation for it all as well. Like in later episodes and stuff, it's gonna let you know everything. It becomes more and more clear in that kind of way.
Yeah, I like it.
This is one aspect of it, you know what I mean, the chakra. So I don't think I was so focused on alt water episodes until Chi Creation, which is like about a year ago. Started doing series 5, and then the mini series, which is like 17 episodes. Quite a long mini series about the sun. That's Chi Creation, Love and Light, but the other ones were Origins of Life, Chi Creation. So yeah, it kind of goes back into it. It's like made a bit of a cycle. So it's like, you know, as I've gone around all the information, I've kind of made it so it kind of loops back. So it's like even with this first series, like the first episode were called Exploring, and it shows you all the plants and how big the leaves can get and all these kind of things, how big flowers can get and all that kind of stuff. And they imply like how they look lifelike and all these kind of things. So then by the time you get to the end of these episodes, which are like finish that series, then you can go back to the beginning and make sense of what that initial episode will kind of like get into. So like, you know, us coming from the plants and stuff. So so then that it continues. Like once I'd finished Reflections of Love and Light, the second series, it's like you can go back to the beginning again and make all the correlations, not just with the chakra and the origins of life, but with the ocean and how that all forms and stuff like that. Like the ear there, you've got the coil, so it looks like a snail shell, but that's like showing you the tunnel of the wave. It's 2D but looks 3D. But if you go inside the snail shell, you experience a 3D. So it has got both, even like the physical, the suggestion, but then the actual formation as well. So the yin and the yang.
Yeah.
So even the most recent series, it links back to beginning episodes, which I'll get to at some point.
Okay. Well, I hope so soon. I'm just going to hit play and go from here, and then we'll let it play out.
We're talking about like using your third eye to see into the astral planes and all these kind of things, which you can do. Then also you can channel. So this is also showing you like the mechanics, saying that that's almost like how it'd work. You know what I mean? This is how you. I mean, obviously the sound travels through, and there's like a physical aspect of things and stuff like. But that's all that needs to be. It works in the same way in a sense. So it's like a spiritual trigger, which triggers those senses for you to hear such sounds or smell such smells. If you've got like that type of sense where you can smell, you know what I mean? Jibby said that he had it. I forgot the name what it's called. There's a few different like, you know, senses and stuff. So another thing I wanted to add, so I'm going to have to do this in several parts, but hopefully just 2. But well, yeah, this natural cycle that we have with trees and stuff like, it drops its fruit, it feeds itself in that way. If it drops enough fruit, the apple bounces off and it spreads its seed further. And all
I got to say one thing, that's an awesome analogy, how the tree's fruit actually feed itself and it reproduces after its own kind. I wonder who came up with that idea.
Johnny Appleseed.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's Johnny Appleseed. I think God actually created everything to reproduce after its own kind, and His own words set the earth in motion. It put everything in its state. And I think a lot of people miss it.
The abundance of apples as well. And so like
Right.
when the giant trees were about, like the utopia that it would have been, you know what I mean? It's gonna like we don't know what kind of fruits it would have produced. Might have been like 10 times bigger and, you know, provided nutrients which we've never even heard of in today's production of nature.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with it completely. And I just had to point that out. It's just like the first, it just jumped out at me.
That's what's funny about it too, is like you see the abundance of fruit and not just apple trees, but just plenty of things in nature. And it's like we always hear about starvation and homelessness and stuff. It's like if you actually went out and just went and foraged, you could get some of this stuff.
Hell yeah.
See, like the government, they should like you should have them. You should have apple trees in towns or end of streets. Every housing street should have apple trees and an abundance of them. You know what I mean? Not just apple trees, pear trees,
Right.
or whatever. You know, maybe things which grow at different times of year. So then there's always like an abundance of food. You know, free as well. You know what I mean? Just like a little
Right.
orchard where you can walk around and grab whatever we want and stuff. And because it's there all the time, there's no point in grabbing too much because it goes off as well, doesn't it? So it won't keep forever. But
Yeah, I mean, half the time people end up wasting it.
Oh yeah, and government's really good at doing that.
Oh, yeah.
Let's waste everything, and let's subsidize this and that, and we'll manipulate everything as far as we can. Oh, look at Monsanto and any of the programs they sponsor too. On top of that, I think they're at the heart of a lot of the problems that actually happen throughout our just day to day lives. Like they produce a lot of the stuff that doesn't need to be here. They try to pervert what they do find for the most part. And there's no reason for it at all. There's no rhyme or reason for anything I think they've ever done in their lifetime. Or the last 80, 90 years they've been a corporation. And all their subsidiaries, including the fact that they're deeply enrooted in Philip Morris and a couple other corporations that need to go away. They're not helping society, I promise. Nothing they push is cohesive with nature. Let's put it that way. Can I get a Monsanto go away? Amen.
Amen.
Yeah, and they have a lot of pull in Washington too. I'm pretty sure of it. With the Pentagon too, on top of that. So, two of the organizations that never needed to be.
All that kind of thing. I think that's like part of its design because there's so many different ways that plants spread the seed and stuff. It just seems to be one of them. You know what I mean? It takes advantage of the nutrients and tries to throw. You know what I mean? It's got too many. You know what I mean? It can throw. It's like the throwing away in a sense, like letting it bounce. You know, it could have been developed a different way. You know, different fruits. Like if apples were soft, it won't bounce. You know what I mean? But anyway, all the fungus and rotting that goes on and all that kind of stuff is a key aspect of me thought plan for all this kind of thing. Because like the suggestion that we come from the trees and stuff like that kind of thing, that you know, you look at the trees and you look for the similarities between us and stuff, but also because like the tree, it's like your bone structure, your muscle structure, whereas your brain is much more like a mushroom. And you think about the psychedelic effects from magic mushrooms or the health benefits of mushrooms you can buy and stuff kind of thing, like, you know, normal eating mushrooms, are really important. You know what I mean? So I don't know, even just the shape of them and stuff like. So that, you know, your natural cycle, because death is just as important a part of life, you know what I mean, as life is in a sense. When you look at nature, it seems to be.
Well, a lot of these processes actually break gases that we actually need in our air to start with too, like for us to breathe and a lot of the things to function in a natural world, correct? So like
yeah.
Decay, fungus, and some of these processes are actually cool.
Yeah, everything serves a purpose.
It seems to make sense.
It does.
Like for it to happen to us, it seems quite a shame, doesn't it? You know what I mean? It's horrible when somebody dies and stuff, that kind of thing. Like, but Another aspect of it is you don't die, do you? Your spirit's eternal. So the story of our experience ends here, but we don't die actually. You know what I mean, and stuff like. It's just that you'd have to come back. It's like going on holiday to experience yourself. You know what I mean, and that's what it is. That's you explore the realm that is experiencing yourself.
I hear
Even
you.
people with different aspects of different expressions of consciousness of what God is in that kind of way. Like different flowers show different frequencies, different patterns of a torus field. So you get different shaped petals and stuff, but they're all correlate to the same pattern. So that's what it's like with people. It's just that it's a shame that government's done so much damage that there's a lot of dangerous people. You know what I mean? I kind of think in past, it probably just weren't like that. You know what I mean? Like I said, especially with forest and stuff like that kind of thing, you could tell if somebody were being deceptive. But I think because of that, then people just weren't deceptive. Okay, unless you got a really rare odd person, maybe. I don't know. But for the most part, I think things would have been really good. I think everything would have flowed. And you don't have to look too far back into the past in terms of like, the nature of things and stuff like 1800s war, like the Napoleonic wars and all these kind of things and stuff. And you think about like the nature of the people because they didn't have TV and the people which were like recruited for war, I don't think really knew what they were getting into. You know what I mean? I think a lot of it were about like the clothing that they wore and stuff like that kind of thing. So it's like, oh, my son's going into the military. Look at how he's dressed and all these kind of things. He's like 18-year-old. He knows girls. So then there's like, the attraction from girls or whatever and stuff like that kind of thing. Next thing is actually going into battle and stuff like that kind of thing. He's never heard a gunshot or actually in a gunshot in battle. I suppose he will have trained and used his rifle or whatever and stuff like that kind of thing, like musket. But in terms of like, having them fired at you, it's a different thing, isn't it? So that weren't the people, that were the government leading people to the deaths. You know what I mean? It's like World War One with trench warfare. It's like the idiocy of it. It's really, really stupid. It's like nobody can afford. Maybe we should change tactic. You know what I mean? Instead of like just sending troops out on over trench towards machine guns, which are like twice the range of the weapons that you're carrying. So you got to run through loads of bullets before you can actually have a range to shoot. You know what I mean? So yeah, everyone just got wiped out. You know what I mean? And it's pretty much the same way of all wars. You know what I mean? It's like apart from more recent ones, it's more like about I suppose that agenda was still there in past anyway about changing the world and orchestrating it the way that we want it and stuff like, they hide what we're doing by creating a war. And, you know what I mean? It looks like it's a war, but really it's all about the control and stuff like after World War II, we Operation Paperclip and stuff. It's like, hey, up. I thought you were, I didn't realize you were friends and such things. Or even
Well,
the royal family being German and such. You have contradictions in that kind of sense.
Well, I'm going to give you this much. I think that there's certain roles that some of us humans play in actually keeping this place cleaned up to a point. And there are animals that I'll just get off the war thing for a minute. I agree with you completely. Yeah, war is definitely an art and a money making proposition, and nobody they hop on board with the propaganda to go with it, and they'll end up in a place where they don't want to be. So yeah, I agree with that completely. But I was gonna say, like, we should be able to take care of like an environment like this and sustain it, and let its natural tendencies happen. But we can actually make it better as we go, like a steward would. That's just my opinion personally. But back to it, yeah. Like my grandfathers, both of them went to the Second World War, and they didn't really talk about it, man. They didn't act like it was normal neither, and it scarred them, I think, for life.
Mm.
They had demons from it that came with them when they came back. It's really a weird thing. If you actually I look back at like the conversations that I had with both my grandparents that were in the big war, and even my father wasn't right when he came back from Vietnam either. He was a completely different person.
And lost spirits as well. Like all those scary videos and stuff like that kind of thing. and sometimes it's like over an area like where a battle's been or whatever. So it seems to be like heavily infested with ghosts or that type of thing and stuff like. And so, that's another thing that it does in a way. I don't know.
I just say, like, from my military experience, like, all I wanted to do was leave it behind once I got out, because it's a dark place, man. It's a real dark place. You see a lot of things you never expected or wanted to see. And after that, you just kind of want to change course, basically.
Yeah, the military will change you. I mean, it'll make
definitely.
you. And it's not for necessarily a good, but a lot of the people that I know that got through it and made through it, I don't judge them for their character or what they went through.
Yeah. Go ahead, sir.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. You have something to add to it?
No. All I was going to say is that, I was young when I signed up. I was naive and I didn't have many options for like college, or, the story that a lot of people have, or a lot of guys go because they got in trouble with the law or something. And that was their only option, but mine was more so I didn't have like college options or anything. So I took the military route. And by the time I finally got out, I was like, I've had enough,
Yeah, I get you, man, completely. And I mean, I've heard stories like even horror stories just out of boot camp, just to begin with. Some of the stuff that goes on in the military shouldn't be going on anywhere.
Yeah, it's definitely an experience that I don't really wish upon anybody else, but at the same time, it's kind of one of those things you got to decide for yourself.
Yeah, I don't pass judgment on anybody who wants to become a military man. It's just I understand what war does to people in that process, so it's not a good thing.
No.
We'll finish this off, guys. Sometime tonight.
It's like that tree that's laid down, dying, not dead either. It's like return to source or returning to source, you know what I mean? As it becomes part of a food cycle for all the rest of the trees and all these kind of things. Obviously, all the fungus and all that kind of thing will come with it and stuff like that. There's a lot of brain mushrooms are named after the brain because of the shape and patterns and stuff like that. Which is one example. It's a bit different, but you can see them patterns like. And that one looks a bit more like it. It looks like a flesh inside kind of thing.
All right. That's a gemstone or an animal?
It's a mushroom.
Whoa. Now, I've never seen that.
I don't know if it's naturally like that, or it's like you can see, like, I don't know if it's like normally covered up or it's like broken up or whatever.
Yeah. I think they split it open by the looks of it.
Hello.
Hold on. I got grandbabies coming through.
What's he doing? Oh my God. Oh my
One day
God.
you'll have some of your own.
That's
Grandma's coming through the living room with the grandkids on the speakerphone, talking as loud as they can. It's part of life.
Hey, that's how you know it's alive, right? That's what they should have been doing in the old Antarctica.
Yeah. And the grandkids running through and said, "Hey, guys, throwing snowballs at each other."
Right.
Look, it's 1,000,000-year-old snow we're holding.
This also connects to stars, like the mushrooms having the brain pattern.
Yeah.
When we look at some of the star photos, and I'm making the reference of that because it's consciousness. You know what I mean? And it shows you these patterns. That's where they come from. You know what I mean? Like the squiggly lines of the brain and stuff like that kind of thing. That comes from the star of the expansion and compression, expansion and contract. Said it right way around, whichever. But
you'll
also
get it out.
The spiral aspect of it as well. So I don't know. The most recent episode I think is in there, but well, even though all series, because there's references to it earlier as well. Like you see a picture of a star. One of them's an illustration, and it shows you like a brain. So it's not a proper photo or that kind of thing, but in the suggestion, it's the same thing. And sometimes when you do look at the photos, it does show you the same patterns. So you've got it in that kind of sense. It's like that is the consciousness. So when we look at the sun, that is us. You know what I mean? This is what we are. So it's like we are a physical manifestation of that light, that pure light.
I get it. Yeah. So what's the name of this thing? Do you know?
I don't think I do know. It'd be easy to find out. It's not that
Yeah,
hard.
well, I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
look that up. It's a what?
Everlasting gobstopper.
Yeah. Well, it's a natural. I'm pretty sure that's got to be poisonous, just by the look of it, for sure.
My bathroom.
Yeah. What do you think? You think it's edible?
You try it
not
first.
sure.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Nice.
Looks a little bit like there's some which are like supposed to be the smallest mushroom in the world. They're really, really tiny. It looks like one of them.
Well, I think this is a good
So-
note to end this on right here, right with the poisonous mushroom. So, Lev, you want to come back tomorrow and finish this off, and we'll start on another one? What do you think?
Yeah.
You good with
Yeah.
it? All right.
But it's a 3-part one, so there's plenty to go on this episode.
I bet. Yeah. I just wanted to go over something on. Let's see. It's a. Hold on. Somebody's talking a little loud right now. Still, the grandbabies are still walking through. Give me a minute. And she's doing it on purpose, I think.
I'm not doing nothing on purpose. He's telling people I'm doing it on purpose.
Yeah. Of course you are. You know I'm on.
But yeah, Lev, everybody can go to your channel and watch the rest of those things, correct?
I'm sorry about that, guys. It's
Oh,
over.
you're good. I was still trying to fill the space there.
That's good. Thank you. I was just having a little conversation there for a minute. I've been on 3 hours, so she wants to get things done. So, yeah. Well, I've been off for the last week now. I've been at work, and I usually am on a schedule, and usually we don't clash at all. But now that I haven't been working, my schedule's changed to a point. Hopefully, I'll be starting to work by tomorrow. So I'll be back on my regular late night thing where I don't interrupt anybody in the process. I need a studio of my own.
So that'd be late tomorrow.
No, it'll be probably around the same time. It depends on whether I start tomorrow or not. I haven't got like, hey, come on in, work now thing. But they have given me like, I need you put the application in, and I'm waiting on to hear back from one manager. He's basically saying I got to get in touch with my boss, and he's got to give me the green light, and then we'll go from there. So, but other than that, yeah, we're good. I just wanted to touch on one thing before I'm done. And I wanted to say hi to all the people that have helped support our channel and Flash Toys channel for the most part, and anybody that's been out there helping us out, especially the people who have been donating to GoFundMe's and to people's PayPals and stuff. We wouldn't be here if you guys didn't do that stuff. And I appreciate it, and I've tried to help everybody out in our little community here. And I've done GoFundMe's for people when they need help, and I've donated money to people who do. And I think it should be a free-flowing thing. I don't think anybody should be one better than the other. And anybody that wants to pass judgment on any of us that need things in the process to keep the ideas flowing and keeping the conversation going, they're like an artery getting clogged. They don't need to be here. Anybody who wants to criticize anybody that's doing anything here in our community, they don't need to be here. If you don't like what you see, then go away. You know. And I see a lot of in-house fighting over when I first started in here. It went away, but I have a feeling it's going to come back. and it's like it's either jealousy or I don't know what it is.
Oh,
Just I mean, literally helping people out. Like I helped PJ out with his son when he went through an episode. I went and started a GoFundMe, got him money for it, and then I got a lot of backlash from both sides of the community, and a lot of judgment, you might say. But I don't think that should actually go on. That's just nonsense. If people are in dire straits, and everybody's been there, you've been there, haven't you? You've had to climb hills, and it's always good to have a family to fall back on. And in a community like this, we do have that. I have seen it. I've seen people do it for other people, and I hate the strife and when it goes to it. I don't. I have an honesty policy, and I'm going to keep it that way. I let everybody know exactly what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and I think we all should be that way. I heard Eric Dubay say this: "Good deeds are meant to be done in the light."
Yeah.
Yeah. And there is no real darkness in the world if you look at it, even at night. Oh, gentlemen, I think we should go home.
All right.
And I gotta keep this lady happy. I do live with her.
I made it, so I'm here.
I know.
I got it.
Yeah.
what you put out comes back as well. Like, you know what I mean? Like, as in terms of being deceptive, then that's what you're going to get back, aren't you? You know what I mean? Karma's got a way of, you know, flowing in that kind of sense and stuff like it.
True, it does.
So yeah, I agree as well.
Yeah, I don't care what you believe or what part of the argument you're on. If you're a Globey or if you're a flat earther, I can tell you who's right and wrong in the process. It's just by elimination of just logical stuff. But it's not that. It's we're people, and I mean, we're not going to rely on somebody telling us how to live our lives in the process. You know, we should shrug it and just take care of what we got to take care of.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna play it with another Chris Berry song, and I'm gonna say goodnight for now. I'll do another show tomorrow, and I'll try to get them in earlier than later until I start working again. Then I'll be back on a late night schedule probably. Depends on what shifts they put me on in the process.
At same time tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll do the same time tomorrow. It'll be easy.
Same time, yeah.
Sounds
I'm
good.
pretty sure they're not going to hand me a schedule up in the morning unless something miraculous happens. Say a prayer for me, but I mean, I'm having to file for unemployment because I was actually, I think, unjustly terminated from Walmart. Let's put it that way.
And they won't. You're not allowed to file unemployment.
Oh, I'm filing unemployment. Yeah,
Oh.
They're not going to be able to fight it. Yeah, but I mean, the way it went down it was just completely wrong. But I still I'm being scrutinized when I filed the unemployment. I went through the ringer this afternoon.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Like
And
I'm sure they've kept people around for worse things than whatever happened to you. But yeah.
Oh, I got sick for 3 days in a row, and I couldn't get a doctor's note to cover me and get approved time off. I did call out, telling them I was had the flu. I was sick. I was unable to work, and they still gave me the points for it. That's what got me canned in the legal sense of it. So.
Yeah.
And in Colorado, that's illegal to do. They can't. They have a statute here where you can't literally fire somebody due to sickness. That's against their rules.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, on to better things, man.
On the better, yeah, I am. And I've got 2 other prospects that are pretty decent. They're not bad. Oh, gentlemen, can I say goodnight to everybody? Thanks for coming by, and thanks for all your support, guys. I appreciate you. All right.
Thanks for having me, man.
Appreciate it, John.
No problem. Glad you guys came by. Yeah, you too.
Good to see you, Chad.
And Ryan, thanks for stopping by. And who else was here? There was somebody
Matt
else.
Prince.
In here.
Matt Prince.
Yeah, Matt. Yeah, Matt was the first guy here, dude. He was on top of it. And thanks, Matt, for coming by. All right. Bye, guys.
Excellent. See you later. Charlie.
The whole story behind it. Oh, I'm going to show you the stuff I got for Ben. Sand art on it. Just like a little trinket dish. Like,
Must we be the masters, the masters, the masters? Must we be the masters of limitation? All our rules and regulations, walls and border segregation, the caging of infinity, scientific mutiny, calling ourselves ordinary, yeah. Pretend to know what we don't know, hold it, believe, and then we don't let it go. No more believe, I choose wonder, like a child whose mind is so tender. Don't let your mind be put under, keep on seeking, ready for the splendor. Limitless, 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 limitless. Must we be the masters, the masters, the masters? Must we be the masters of limitation? They've been blinded by staring at this soul. Those who say the truth is only one. Behold all these things and the countless ways we can see. Oh, pretend to know what we don't know, call it belief, and then we don't let it go. No more belief, I choose wonder, like a child whose mind is tender. Yeah. Don't let your mind be put under, keep on seeking, ready for splendor. Limitless, 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 limitless. When they say that things can be like that, tell them you don't know things like this. Limitless, 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 limitless.
Sorry about that, guys. I'm a little rusty with StreamYard, but I'll get better as I get going with it more if I want to keep using it. Hopefully, I can get Restream to work with Lev eventually, but maybe I could tweak some things. And good night, guys. Thanks for watching.